reminded of his debts.
Jazz gave me $300 for insurance, but that was it.
That's incorrect.
Did you pay your rent every month?
I was short in January.
He only paid in full 1 month.
And they won't let him forget a dime.
He bought a new car right after I helped him.
She says she gave you $200 towards the down payment.
She's lying.
And what about you?
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
20-year-olds Judy Primacio and his girlfriend, Jasmine Vallejos, are suing their ex-roommate and Judy's family friend, Zachary Iona, for unpaid rent, a car loan, stolen identity, and ruined credit.
Order. All rise. It's case number 71 on the calendar in the matter of Vallejos Primacio versus Joanna.
Thank you.
Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Folks, have a seat, please.
This, sir, is your cousin?
Yes.
First cousin?
No, distant.
How distant?
Actually, Honor, he is just a very close family friend, and we've been raised together. We've grown up together.
Okay, so he's a close family. You are 19?
I'm 20.
And you?
20.
And you?
18.
The three of you rented an apartment together. It was a two-bedroom apartment. You signed the lease.
We all did.
It is your claim that the defendant moved out.
Yes.
Yes.
And he moved out owing you money.
Yes, that's correct.
And he moved out to move into the home of his girlfriend.
No, he moved into his parents' home.
His parents' house with the girlfriend,
Yeah.
Yes.
who is now pregnant.
As far as I understand, yes.
Is that right?
She had a miscarriage
How much after you moved into your parents' house?
about a month or two afterwards.
Is she still living in your parents' house?
Yes,
You pay your parents rent?
I do.
How much?
I pay $200 for bills.
What about the girlfriend?
She doesn't pay anything.
Why?
She just moved in after she graduated high school.
Well, let me understand this, Mr. Iona. The three of you moved in together, and as far as I can see from the papers of all three of you, you made a reasonable arrangement that they would pay 2/3 of the rent, because they're two people. You would pay 1/3 of the rent. Is that right?
Correct.
And you moved in what month and year?
October of 2018.
And in what month did your girlfriend all but move in?
She never moved in.
I said all but move in. I mean, she did get pregnant in your apartment,
Yes.
not in your parents' apartment, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
So in what month and year did she all but move into the apartment?
February 2019.
And that became a source of irritation
That's correct,
among
yes.
you, because now the people sharing your room and two people sharing a room.
Yes.
Yeah, of course. Did you pay your rent every month?
I did, up until I lost my job in January, or December.
Well, so the answer is no. I
No.
didn't pay my rent every month. I had lost my job. So what month didn't you pay?
I was short in January. I was short rent.
Your Honor, he was also short on many other months.
He only paid in full 1 month.
They are wrong, Your Honor.
Just a second. Did you pay them in check or cash?
I always paid cash.
That's incorrect, Your Honor. I have proof.
That he paid in...
He transferred to my bank account. There was only, I think, 1 or 2 months where he paid in cash.
Did you ever transfer money into her bank account?
I did.
So that was also a method. May I see other months?
Yes.
Mr. Iona, were you short other months?
Just January and February.
January and February?
Correct.
How short were you January and February?
Not too short, a couple $100.
Not a couple of hundred. I mean, this is a business.
Yeah.
How much short were you in January and February?
200 in January and 300 in February.
I have the exact rate. Okay.
So far, according to you, that's $500.
Correct.
Then there was a car loan. When was that?
December of 2018.
The same month you lost your job.
Yes, this was all before I lost my job.
How much was the car loan and who made it to you?
The car loan was for...
These two people give you money towards a car.
Jazz gave me $300 for insurance, but that was it.
That's incorrect, Your Honor.
Just a second. Jasmine, she gave you $300 for insurance, or she paid the insurance?
She paid the first month of insurance.
And that's also incorrect, Your Honor. Okay. Sorry.
When did you pay them back? So far, from you, I have $800. I would like to see proof of when you paid them back the $800.
I did everything in cash, Your Honor.
So you have no proof.
I have a pay stub from my $900 check in January, and I gave them the money.
Oh, who did you give the $900 to?
I gave $400 of it to Judah and then $100 to Jasmine.
Did he give you $400?
No, Your Honor.
Did he give you $100?
No, everything he gave me was for rent.
Did he give you in February $100
No.
towards repayment of any of this? Did he give you $400?
No, Your Honor. But he did give us $100, but we had to use that towards his rent of being short.
So he gave you $100,
Yes.
but it was for what month's rent?
It was for January's rent, and it was going towards February's rent because he was late.
That's only $100. That doesn't stretch out that far. Did he pay you at all in January?
Yes, he paid us $100 for helping him out with the car and
How much?
$300.
Well, the $300 was for insurance.
We
Yes.
also gave him $200 for a down payment.
That's incorrect, Your Honor. I have the full down payment in my evidence right here.
Show me. I mean, you're going to say that it was a $200 down payment?
He
or-
bought a new car right after I
Just a
helped
second.
him.
Just a second. Are you going to show me that it says that you put down $200?
I put down $510. They didn't pay anything towards the down payment at all.
I don't know that. She says she gave you $200 towards the down payment.
She's lying.
Okay. And what about you? You see, I have a feeling that these two people wouldn't be here unless you owe them money.
I don't owe them anything, Your Honor.
Well, so far, I have, even by your own statement, you owe them money. Because so far you owe them $800, according to your own statement, and you paid them back, according to you, $500. He says you never gave him $400.
I did pay them back.
Just a second. Tell me when.
In January, when I got that check, I gave them the money.
No, I asked you a question. You told me you got the paycheck in January. It was $900. I'll show it to you. And you said I gave him $400 and I gave her $100. That's exactly what you said. Well, 4 and 1 are 5. Even my rudimentary math tells me that's 5. According to you, you owe them 8. So according to you, you still owe them $300.
They also have my bed at the apartment, which was listed at...
Who cares? What else?
It was a $400 bed. It's still at the apartment.
I don't care.
I gave it to them as part of rent to pay them.
Did you also continue to pay your car insurance out of her bank account for months?
No, I did not.
You did not.
I did not. She even got a refund from that $300 from Allstate.
That's not what I asked you, whether they gave her back the money. What I asked you was your car insurance, without her permission, continue to be paid out of the same bank account where she paid it the first time?
No, it wasn't.
No?
That is incorrect, Your Honor.
Show me.
Okay, I have it.
It's so easy to prove. Why would you say not? It's so easy for her to show that the money came out every month for the car insurance for, say, 2 months or 3 months. She may have gotten reimbursed because she complained about it when she saw it, but that doesn't mean it wasn't taken out. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Was it taken out?
Yes.
So
No,
why can't
not
you
to my
just
knowledge.
say that? It was taken out. You didn't pay it.
I didn't.
You didn't pay it when it was due. It was taken out of her account.
That wasn't to either of our knowledge. She paid it the first month. That was all that was supposed to be paid. It's her fault for not stopping the subscription, and I told them also that
Your Honor.
they didn't want to keep repaying it.
You have a car.
Yes, I do.
You're supposed to pay the insurance every month?
Yes.
That's what it said on the loan. On the loan, it says you have to pay the insurance every month, right?
Yes.
So you have to write out a check, or it has to come out of your bank account. Do you have a bank account?
Yes.
Because you write checks. You would have to write a check or get a money order insurance for, say, the month of February. If you didn't pay it for February, you either were in breach of your contract with the loan company or somebody else paid it because they didn't cancel your insurance, right?
They did. The insurance got canceled in February. That's why there's no way that they would have kept paying the insurance.
So what you're telling me is after the 1 month of $300 where she did pay that you owe her for, money never came out of her account again for your insurance.
Correct.
Only that one time.
Yeah.
I'm not reading all of this. All I want to see from you is someplace circled where the insurance came out more than the 1 month that you acknowledge that you loaned him the money for insurance. Make a circle
So this
on
is
the
where
bank
it was-
statement.
Circle it.
Okay. So this is where it was refunded.
Just make 2 circles wherever the money came out.
That's right here. There's the refund and where it came out on that.
Two months to Allstate. Is that who insures your car?
Yes. Or who did insurance my car.
2 months. What happened in January?
I called them and filed identity theft because that was the only way I could get my money back. He doesn't even still have the same car.
You got your money back?
Yeah, the company worked with me, but I still didn't get it back for the down payment.
You have a check for the...
And I have showing that he paid $200. Verbally, he said he'd pay $100. Oh, okay.
Shh.
Okay.
What month did you buy your car?
In December, ma'am.
This is January 30th that it was posted. The transaction was January 29th.
Yeah, it was pending.
I don't know if it was pending or not. It said the date it was posted and the date of transaction. The date of the transaction was January 29th.
Yes.
The day it was posted, he bought his car. Let me see when you bought your car. Did you get another roommate, by the way?
His brothers moved in with us.
Good. Is he paying rent?
Our parents are covering his rent.
I don't know what this is. Okay, so far, it is your statement that your cousin friend did not give you $400.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, but did give you $100 towards the rent.
Yes, Your Honor.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $700. We're finished. Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
It was just mostly because I had people over, friends.
I did. I spoke up about it, but
They didn't like certain friends that I had over, and they wanted to kick them out.
he didn't care, she didn't care. I mean, in the long run, lesson learned.
Seems hit a really steep bump.
I can't even say how much I feel, how angry I am.
Yeah, only time will tell.
Can't always trust family now.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Owens versus Reed, step forward.
Gwendolyn Owens is suing Doretha Reed for the cost to repair her car after Doretha's son crashed his bike into it.
All right, Miss Owens, what is your claim that the defendant's son, who was riding a bike, crashed into your car?
Yes,
Causing damage. You were taking your son to school,
my grandson.
your grandson to school. Was the defendant's son on his bicycle going in the same direction that you were?
Yes,
Going to school?
I assume yes.
So he was traveling correctly. He was going with the flow of traffic.
Yes,
And according to what I read here, cars were sort of going around him
correct.
because he was on a bicycle.
Yes,
And the car in front of you went around him successfully.
yes,
And you went to go around him.
yes, ma'am.
And then you went back in and you heard something hit your car.
Yes,
Is that what happened?
yes, ma'am.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
He was turning. He wasn't going straight. He was trying to turn around. That's how he hit my passenger's back door. Because it's in the police report where he tried to turn around. I guess he was going back in the other direction.
Were you trying to turn around?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Gwendolyn Owens says 13-year-old Donovan Jemison crashed his bike into her car while she was in the process of passing him on the road.
Now, the car in front of you went around him successfully.
Yes,
And you went to go around him.
yes, ma'am.
And then you went back in and you heard something hit your car.
Yes,
Is that what happened?
yes, ma'am.
And?
I heard something hit my car. My granddaughter was in the back seat. So I pulled over on the side of the street, and the people behind me stopped. There were two people behind me. I stopped and got out.
Everybody stopped because the bicyclist was on the ground.
Yes. I got out, went to see him, and he walked across the street. The bike was still in the street, and we were concerned about him, so we asked where his parents were. You know, where did he live? He said right across the street. I ran over and knocked on the door to try to get an answer. I didn't get an answer. Went back over. The two witnesses were still there with him, and he tried to call home, and there was still no answer.
Owens, his mother took him to the doctor, correct?
Ma'am.
Just to check him out.
Yes, ma'am.
And fortunately, he was okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So you didn't sue her?
No, ma'am.
No, you didn't sue her. Now, Miss Owens,
Yes.
I've read these papers, and I, quite frankly, it's sort of incredulous to me that you think he's responsible for this accident.
Well, Your Honor, I also have the police report with the witnesses saying that it was his fault.
Just a second. I don't read witnesses' statements from a police report.
Okay.
You told me that you went around him,
Correct.
right?
Correct.
And are there cars coming in the other direction? You see where the cars is? Are there cars coming in the other direction?
No, not at that time, no.
No. Is it possible for cars to come in the other
Yes,
direction?
it's possible, yes.
So it's a two-lane highway?
Yes,
So you had to go over into the other lane in order to pass him?
yes,
And then you went back?
yes.
Your problem is to make sure he has enough space.
I did make sure he had enough space.
So
Can I
is
show you?
Yeah, sure, you can show me.
Okay. All right. This is my car here.
I understand where your car is.
All right, I had passed by him, okay? and he was turning. He was trying to turn around. He wasn't going straight. He was trying to turn around. That's how he hit my passenger back door.
He was trying to turn around?
He was trying to turn around. Because it's in the police report where he tried to turn around. I guess he was going back in the other direction.
Just a second. Stand up. Donovan, were you going to school that day?
Yes.
You were going to school that day?
Yes, ma'am.
Step back. And when you were going to school that day, you go in the same direction as you were going?
Yes, ma'am.
Were you trying to turn around for some reason?
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Do you remember what happened with Mrs. Owen's car?
No.
You don't remember?
No, ma'am.
You just remember being on the ground?
Yes, ma'am.
Were you in the car?
Yes.
Stand up.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Gwendolyn Owen says 13-year-old Donovan Jemison crashed his bike into her car while she was in the process of passing him on the road.
Were you trying to turn around for some reason?
No, ma'am.
Do you ever drive your bike to school?
Sometimes.
How often?
Not that often.
Well, prior to this day that this happened, when was the last time you drove your bike to school?
It's been a while, so...
Why were you driving your bike to school that day?
I was in a rush because I was going to be late.
So you were going in the same direction?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you remember what happened with Mrs. Owen's car?
No.
You don't remember?
No, ma'am.
You just remember being on the ground?
Yes, ma'am.
Were there other cars going around you?
Yes, ma'am.
And did they successfully go around you?
Yes, ma'am.
Were you in the... Is this young man in your class or in your grade?
Oh, no. I'm about to be a senior.
And he?
Oh, no. I just be seeing him walk to school sometimes when she be dropping me off to school.
Okay. But he was going to school that day?
Mm-hmm.
Going in the same direction you were?
Yes.
Okay. You were facing forward, so you didn't see what happened in the rear of you?
Oh, no. But, like, we was going straight. Like, we was going around, like, all the other cars with us, and then he hit the back door. And then that's when she pulled over and stopped to make sure...
Just a second. The back passenger door?
Yes.
Right, which is when you would be going past him. Yeah, Miss Owens, you're lucky Miss Reed didn't sue you, and you're lucky he wasn't injured.
Well, I also have text messages where she said that she would pay for the damages.
Well, if she wants to pay for them, that's fine. If she voluntarily, I would not order her to pay for the damages. You passed a biker. It's your responsibility in a car to make sure you have plenty of clearance with that biker.
I had plenty of clearance.
Clearly
he
not.
He turned to turn around to go in the other direction. The police report also has stated that.
Just a second. That's ridiculous. He was going to school, and he was going in the same direction you were going to drop your grandson off at school. So there would be no reason for him to turn around.
Well, for some reason, he did turn around. Because you can even tell by the pictures of where my car was hit.
I know where your car was hit. Your car was hit on the back passenger side. It would sue you. I don't see any statements of witnesses here.
It's at the bottom, Brian.
Are you talking about this?
Yes.
This narrative? Sorry, that's not a witness's statement. The policeman wasn't there. This is a synopsis of what somebody told a police officer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that was the witness that witnessed it.
I don't know that.
And that's his name at the bottom.
I don't know that that was the statement of the witness. That's what the police officer's summary is.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
My responsibility is to say, whose fault is it when somebody is on a bike and somebody passes the biker? And I see no logic for this young man trying to turn around when the school was in the same direction you were going in. And it's just as easy for me to assume that you cut in too fast. Well, I don't know that, and he doesn't remember. Your case is dismissed. We're finished. You were lucky his mother didn't sue you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
Because they hit my car and they were turning around.
Oh, my God, it was very frightening. I thought he was...
Picked them up to come see about their child.
And I ran downstairs and ran outside to go see if he was okay.
She said that she would make arrangements to pay by May the 20th.
I actually got pushed into saying that she basically bullied me into it.
I'm glad he wasn't hurt, but my car is still damaged.
Share that road.
The forecast was for fun of the sun.
We planned a trip to go to Miami. It was supposed to be $800 for each of us to go.
Now,
You got the money, you bought the ticket. You had this argument, and she didn't go.
a family's in for a stormy future.
Your cousin accused you of stealing $2,600.
I said, let them all take a lie detector test. I'll pay for it.
The test results were negative.
Yes, it was negative.
I wouldn't want to go with you on vacation either.
Judge Judy. You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Michelle Marshall is suing her cousin, Mia Coleman, for a refund for an airline ticket, the cost of a lie detector test, and harassment.
Order. All rise.
It's case number 73 on the calendar in the matter of Marshall versus Coleman.
Thank you.
You're what, please?
Miss Marshall, Miss Coleman is your cousin. You were planning a trip somewhere. According to you, you gave her money for that trip. About the same time, your cousin accused you of stealing about $2,600 from her. Well, she suggested that it could have been you. It caused a great deal of friction. Someone suggested that a polygraph test might resolve it. According to you, Ms. Coleman said if you took the polygraph test and passed it, she would pay for it. You took the polygraph test. According to you, you passed it. You showed it to her. You said you wanted to pay for it.
No.
Well, that's what you're suing her for, to pay for the polygraph test. That's another thing you're suing her for. And harassment and defamation for accusing you. So let's just get to the ticket. How much was the ticket and where were you going?
We were planned a trip to go to Miami.
And you gave her money? How much?
First, I gave her $700, and then later on, I gave her $100. It was supposed to be $800 for each of us to go.
Did she give you the $800?
No.
How much did she give you?
She gave $800 to Lashana.
Who was that?
And we also gave Lashana our booth money for the...
Did you give the money to her?
She gave it. It was given to me.
Handed to you?
Yes, it was handed
Stand
to me.
up. What did you do with it? Don't go over here. She handed it to you.
She hands me the money, and my cousin asked me, do you want me to put it up for you? And I said yes, and she put
So then you're the defendant.
I gave the money to the
Fine.
defendant.
It was a reimbursement, Judge. The tickets were bought on February the 19th.
I don't care what it was. She paid for her ticket. Yes. She didn't go.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
We don't have to make this into a Supreme Court case. It's not a Supreme Court case.
Right.
Yeah.
You got the money, you bought the ticket. You had this argument, and she didn't go. She wants her money back. And what you're saying is that the ticket was non-refundable. That's what I read in your answer. That's what you said. So don't say no. That's what you wrote in your
said
answer.
Yeah.
Well, you were shaking your head no.
Oh, no, I said yeah.
No, you were shaking your head no. Sit down, please.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Were you supposed to go by air?
Yes.
And were you staying at a hotel? Was there a package?
It was supposed to be a package, yes.
It was a package. Okay. Did you go to Miami? Miss Coleman, did you go to Miami?
Oh, yes, I thought you talked to her. Yes, I went to Miami.
Again, you shook
I'm
your
sorry.
head no.
Yes, I went to Miami.
Okay.
But she didn't go because she didn't want to
ask you a question. There's no question before you.
Oh, okay. Yes, I went to Miami.
You went to Miami?
Yes.
Okay, and what happened to her ticket?
It was non-refundable due to the fact that money got...
Just a second. It was a non-refundable ticket?
Yes.
Did they tell you it was a non-refundable ticket?
Yes.
When did they tell you it was a non-refundable ticket?
March 17th.
And when was the trip scheduled?
This trip was scheduled for May 17th.
Okay, so they told you 2 months in advance that the ticket was non-refundable.
Information about the ticket so I can go somewhere else. I asked for information of the airline and everything, and they didn't give me nothing.
Oh, do you have all the information for her?
Yes, which she never asked for.
Just a second. All I have to do is say it's a non-refundable ticket, and you can't change it. That's all. Can I see it, please?
Here you go.
Okay, the ticket was a non-refundable ticket.
I didn't see that.
Here you go. Would you hand that to her? I'd like her to see it.
I asked for this, and I never received it.
Okay.
This doesn't have a date or nothing on here, but I see it says non-refundable.
How much was the airline ticket?
I think it was like $651.
And she gave you a total of $800.
Mm-hmm.
What was the other money for?
For the room. You know,
she didn't use the room.
Okay, what happened was Lashana bought the tickets February 15th. March 14th, me and Michelle gave Lashana back her money. Michelle and I and Lashana already discussed about buying the room and everything together, so that's why she gave me extra money for the room. I have all the texts right here.
I don't want to see the text.
Okay.
So far, you owe her $159. You don't owe her for the airline, just for the room.
Okay.
She didn't go. And she didn't go because...
Because she didn't want to go.
Well, she didn't. I could understand that. I could understand that. You accused her of stealing.
Oh, no, I didn't. I have those texts, Judge.
Good. Put it down. I read your answer. The next day, I discovered I was missing $2,600 of my hard-earned money. I didn't want to blame either of them, but I let them know that the money didn't walk away on its own. After that, Michelle distanced herself from me and started telling all of her family that I accused her of stealing from me. I never accused her, but she showed a very guilty conscience and was being very defensive. At that point, I knew she had to be the one that took my money. So that's what you wrote.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Just say. So that's what you wrote,
Yeah,
and that's what you swore
after
to.
months of
That's
her
don't try to talk over me. That
okay.
doesn't usually work. So I wouldn't want to go with you on vacation either. Now, let's get to the polygraph test. So when did you discuss a lie detector test, Ms. Coleman?
What had happened was Michelle's mother said that they all should take a lie detector test.
Good.
I said, okay, let them all take a lie detector test. I said we can, all three of them go at one time with my questions. I'll pay for it. Then I text my Auntie Mary and I asked her the number to the man, which I have the text right here, and she gave me his number. I called him. He stated that Michelle already
Don't
had...
tell me what he stated.
Oh.
What he stated is hearsay.
Oh, okay. Well, she already had an appointment for tomorrow at 1 o'clock.
Did you go?
They didn't want me to go.
Did you go?
No, they didn't want me to go.
How do you know that?
Because my auntie got...
Just there where you say, listen, I understand you're having a polygraph test. I want to go. And they say, we don't want you to be there. Do you have a text that says that?
I think my auntie said that verbally.
Okay.
And then I text the man my questions, and he never did reply, and then he switched my questions.
Just a second. Did you ever tell her you didn't want her to go?
No, I didn't.
Okay. Fine. And the test results were negative, is that correct?
Yes. They weren't my questions. I don't know.
Yes, it was negative.
It was negative. And how much was the test?
$325.
Who else went for the test?
Just me.
Okay. We have counterclaim, money owed for a concert ticket. How much was the concert ticket?
$147.
When was it for?
I don't know what concert.
I don't want you to interrupt her.
The concert was on 122.
January 22nd?
Yes.
What are you talking about? This all started in March.
No, that's okay. That's why you have to understand.
No, I'm not going back to history.
No, what we
concert
do,
ticket.
Here you go.
Did you buy concert ticket for the plaintiff?
Yes.
Did you buy? That's a yes.
Yes.
And it was $147.
Yes.
When was the concert scheduled?
April 19th. I thought you said what day were the tickets bought on.
On April 19th.
Yes, that's when the concert was.
And she didn't go with you because...
She decided to push herself away.
After all this happened, she did not go to the concert, but you had already purchased the ticket for her. Miss Marshall, did you know that your cousin had purchased the ticket for you?
I do not know what concert she's talking about.
Tell me what concert. Tell me what
the
concert.
Snoop Dogg concert.
Just a second. I ask a question, you give an answer. Tell me what concert you were all going to.
The Snoop Dogg concert.
And you had discussed that together?
Yes.
Tell me when you had discussed that together.
Probably sometime in January.
Do you recall that, Miss Marshall? Just be careful. Do you recall discussing going to the Snoop Dogg concert?
Talking about it, yes.
Okay. I'm going to deduct $147. Did you give her the ticket, by the way?
No.
Just a second. Did you give... Listen, it's a confusing, very uninteresting case. So let me get through it so that I can get back to my gin game. Did you give her the ticket?
No, she distanced herself.
Just a second.
No.
The answer is then you don't get the money back. You mail her the ticket.
She distanced herself?
I don't care if she distanced herself. She's not paying you for the... Listen, you're looking at your papers, not paying attention. That's why you're going to lose.
I'm listening to you, Judge.
That's why you're going to lose. That you bought her and said, listen, you want to go. You want to send somebody else? Fine. You want to try to sell the ticket? Fine. I'm not interested that she distanced herself.
Even if she said, I'm not going to the Snoop Dogg concert now, I have the texts. She's not going now. The tickets were already bought.
Text is not plural. Second of all, she doesn't have to go. All you have to do is send her the ticket. Put your hand
She didn't give me
down.
the money by then. LaShawna bought the tickets. We were supposed to reimburse her money on the ticket. She didn't give us our money. I'm always the collector in situations.
But
she
hands
didn't give
down,
us no money.
hands down. Then take somebody else or sell the ticket. take somebody else or sell the ticket.
That's fine.
$474. Do you have any other thing in your counterclaim?
Yes,
Come on,
my
fast.
My counterclaim is about me and my children. Michelle has been slandering my name all over Facebook to my family. She's accusing, saying that I said that she took my money when I never did. I told them I don't know which one of them took my money.
Okay,
I have texts to prove that.
$447. Judgment for the plaintiff. Your counterclaim's dismissed.
Judge Judy,
we are
walking
done.
out. What about her talking about my children?
We are
Judge Judy,
done. We're finished.
Even her daughter's father said something about my son's mental health. Are you serious?
Serious?
Ma'am.
I never kitchen with both of them. I said, I don't know if you stole it, I don't know if you stole it.
I don't even believe the money was missing. I believe it was all just a scam to get me for my money and they can go to the trip.
At the Snoop Dogg, Miami, we already didn't pay for all of this. I can't go. I'm not messing with you guys anymore.
It's terrible sad. I am truly hurt by that.
It's no more relationship. It's no more relationship, you know?
Me and my cousin was really close before all this came about.
Never trust family. Never trust family again.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Porter versus Clark. Step forward.
Whitney Porter is suing her ex-boyfriend, Trendle Clark, for late fees, stolen money, and damaged property.
Miss Porter, it is your claim that Mr. Clark, who was an old friend of yours, called you one evening. What was the date of that call?
May 2nd.
And he needed a place to sleep because he was a little drunk.
Mm-hmm.
Where had you been?
I was at work. I wasn't drunk.
So why didn't you go home?
It was too far of a ride.
Had you ever slept at Miss Porter's before?
Yes.
Prior to May 2nd of this year, when had you slept at her house before?
Probably a few months before that.
So you usually drive home from work?
Yeah, if it's close, yeah.
Well, your house doesn't move, does it?
Nah.
Does your workplace move?
No.
Well, if your workplace doesn't move and your house doesn't move, then it's the same distance all the time. So why some...
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You went to pay the rent, and the $525 was missing from your purse.
Yes, ma'am.
So there were only two people who could have taken that money. One was your daughter, and one was Mr. Clark.
Yes.
You want to stand up?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Whitney Porter says ex-boyfriend Trendle Clark stole money from her purse and ruined her futon.
So why sometimes do you sleep over and sometimes not?
Just felt like stopping at the time and just staying over there.
What kind of work do you do?
Construction work.
Was May 2nd a weekday or a weekend?
Weekend.
So it must have been a Friday.
Yes.
What time did he get to your house on Friday night?
It was like 2 or 3 o'clock that morning. He called me.
2 to 3 in the morning. Well, what kind of construction do you do?
Working on houses. Later, I got 2 jobs. I could security guard that night. So after I got done doing my job at the security job, I just called her instead of going home.
Where were you working security?
At a club, nightclub.
And what time does it close?
4.
So you left early?
Yeah, about 3.
Was the door open for you, or did she open the door?
It was open.
And you went to sleep on the futon. Where did you sleep?
In the bed.
With whom?
With her.
Had you done that before?
Yes.
Did you ever sleep?
Me and my 2 children.
How old are they?
13 and 4.
13 is?
My daughter.
What's her name?
Tatiana.
Mr. Clark, how long have you known the plaintiff?
Long time, since we were kids.
How often do you have a sleepover?
Every once in a while.
Ms. Porter says that you took some money from her wallet.
I don't know nothing about no money.
Okay. This is your claim, Ms. Porter. You claim that the defendant came over, he was drunk, he slept on your futon and damaged it, and you claim that he took money that you had put away for rent.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you work?
Yes.
For whom?
Mobile Link is Cricket. It's a cell phone company.
When had you cashed your daughter's check?
It was cashed the night before.
And she gets that check every month?
Yes, ma'am.
For how long?
She's been getting it since she was about 5 or 6.
Is your daughter in regular school?
Yes.
How much cash was in your purse?
It was exactly $525 in my purse.
After you drove your son to school, came back, and according to your complaint, you went to pay the rent, and the $525 was missing from your purse.
Yes, ma'am.
So there were only 2 people, really,
yes,
who could have taken that money. One was your daughter, and one was Mr. Clark.
Right.
Has Mr. Clark ever taken money from you before?
No.
You have this sort of arrangement with him periodically, where he stays over? I believe him, you know.
Yeah.
And the person who told you that she saw Mr. Clark rifling through your purse was your daughter?
Yes.
You want to stand up?
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I never even talked to you again after you told me you was gonna give me your check on Wednesday.
I want to know why you haven't spoken to each other since then.
Because he's been
I couldn't tell you.
I'm believing you less, Mr. Clark.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Whitney Porter says ex-boyfriend Trendle Clark stole money from her purse and ruined her futon.
How did you get to school that day?
My mom.
That was after she took your brother to school?
Yes.
How far is the ride?
Like 10 miles or something like that.
So you were in the car with your mother for a while?
Yes.
And you had plenty of opportunity to tell your mother that when she was out taking your brother to school, you saw Mr. Clark going through her purse?
Yes.
Later told your mother. How much later?
I went to school and I was thinking about it. Like, should I tell my mom?
Well, that's something that you tell your mom immediately as soon as you see it happen, and then she goes in the car. She's in the car with you, taking you to school, right?
No, I was thinking, like, why would he take my mom money, and was just confused.
Okay, you can have a seat. Other than your daughter's testimony, do you have any other proof that Mr. Clark took your money?
No.
Not enough for me. It's not enough for me. You understand why?
No.
Well, it's easy. There were two adults in the house. Mr. Clark, who you've known for how many years?
Since we were 13, 14.
And he's never taken anything from you, right?
But who else would take it?
Your daughter.
My daughter's not going to take my money.
I don't know that. You see, I don't know. And if there's an I don't know at the end of a question that I have, then I can't find Mr. Clark guilty of taking your money. There are certain things that I do know. I know that Mr. Clark denies taking your money.
But he also told me on the phone that he's going to pay me my money back or that following Wednesday when he got paid.
Did you say that to her?
I said I would help her out, just being a kind person that I am. Yes, I did say that.
No, let's go back. She called you on the phone, and what did she say to you?
She said the money's missing, and I told her that I don't know nothing about whatever money that's missing.
Did Mr. Clark say, I don't know anything about whatever money is missing? Did he say that to you?
He said, I don't know, but I'll help you. I'll give you some money, some of your money back on Wednesday when I get paid. Those was his words. So, you know, that's basically letting me know that
Well, no, there's a word back there. Did you use the word back?
No. Just called me, said the money's missing, well, I need help paying the rent. I said, okay, well, when I get paid, I can help you out. That's all I can do, because I can't do nothing else. I don't have your money. And that was it. Offering to help her out, to help her with her bills, so she wouldn't lose her house.
But I also haven't heard from him since then. Like, he has not brung the money or nothing. I have not been able to get in touch with him or nothing. He don't answer.
Well,
nothing.
Then, Mr. Clark, let's go further, because it's getting more convincing to me.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Now, if you said, I'll help you out with my next paycheck, and this was May 2nd, did you help her out with your next paycheck?
Nah.
Why?
I called her and just left her alone.
What do you mean you called her?
I called her back after she called me, and I just left it alone after the situation where she had said she already paid her rent. She already took care of it.
Who told you she took care of it?
She did.
Did she say how?
No.
How did you take care of your rent?
I got help from the agencies that help you with your rent, but I never told you that. I never even talked to you again after you told me you was gonna give me your check on Wednesday. So how could I have called you back and told you that?
Now, don't speak to each other. You speak to me. I want to know why you haven't spoken to each other since then.
I couldn't tell you.
I'm believing you was taken?
Yes, ma'am.
Judgment for the plaintiff. We're done. Thank you.
Thank you.
While you're excused, you may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
She knew it wasn't right. She knew I didn't take the money. She knew exactly what was going on.
I mean, I know he took my money. There was no other person. My daughter's not gonna steal my money from me.
Her daughter was lying, she lying, and I just left her alone at that.
Because he thinks that I have money and I don't have money, and that's just what he do.
Yeah, to be a thief, one, I've been knowing it for a long time, but it's over with. I ain't got nothing else to deal with it.
I just hope that we just keep our distance like we've been doing.
It's still gonna be the same. I ain't worried about it. It ain't gonna hurt me.
No more late night calls.
A mom dumps her kids at a daycare.
You left your children with Miss Hunsicker for how long?
About 6 months.
They're your children.
The next thing she ditched was the bill.
How much money did you give Miss Hunsaker for taking care of your children?
Well, I was giving them food and things like that.
That's not sufficient. That's what I would say to a man if he was standing there, and that's what I'm saying to you.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin.
Daycare provider Teresa Hunsaker is suing former client Veronica Cotton for child care costs after Veronica left her kids with her for 6 months.
Order. All rise. It's case number 120 on the calendar in the matter of Hunsaker versus Cotton.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated, sir. Have a seat.
Miss Hunsaker, you run a daycare center?
Yes, ma'am.
For how long?
I've had a family child care since 1987.
In what year did you first meet Miss Cotton?
2018.
Who introduced you?
I actually received a phone call from my neighbor who is a church secretary, and she said a mom had been calling looking for emergency child care for 4 hours so she could attend a training at work.
That was you?
Yes.
And you have how many children?
2.
Who is this?
My boyfriend.
Is he the father of either of these children?
No.
How old are your children?
13 and 8.
Okay. Without going into a whole long story, you ended up, Miss Cotton, leaving your children with Miss Hunsaker because you were having some difficulties. Difficulties, I don't know what they were related to, whether they were related to substance abuse, whether they related to lack of housing. I don't know for what reason. But you left your children.
About 6 months.
And in the 6 months, because you brought your children there, then became sort of friends, you were having difficulty, you asked her if she could take care of them for a while. She said yes, and anyway, you left them there. During any of that 6-month period, were you in a rehabilitation center?
No, I didn't need to be.
Were you in jail?
No, I didn't need to be.
Were you working?
Yes.
During that 6-month period, because that's what this is about, during that 6-month period, how much money did you give Miss Hunsaker for taking care of your children?
To her herself, none.
To her?
None.
To her. And how did you think that children were being supported?
Well, I was giving them food and things like that. I had already given them their clothes.
That's like a father saying to me, I take care of them, I bring them diapers. You know how many times I've heard bringing them food. Did you, let me ask you this question.
No, like filling the grocery.
Did you bring them food on a daily basis?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner? So that means you saw your children every day?
I did, but not breakfast and lunch because they were getting that at school.
So what you're telling me, Miss Cotton, is that you brought your children dinner every day?
Yes.
Is that correct?
No, it is not.
Of course not. Okay. And how much cash did you provide Miss Hunsaker for clothes, taking them to a movie, anything cash?
Zero cash.
Zero cash. Well,
they already had everything that they needed.
No,
and
they
I
didn't.
told her that anything that they needed extra, I would take care of, not a problem.
You took, listen to me, Miss Cotton.
I saw them every day.
Miss Cotton, if what you're suggesting to me is that you weren't in jail and you weren't in a rehab program, that you're suggesting that you saw your children every day, which I doubt, and that your contribution was bringing them dinner, that's not sufficient. That's what I would say to a man if he was standing there, and that's what I'm saying to you, because there's no difference. They're your children. Where is their father?
In a different state.
For the time that the children were living with you, did you have a child support order with regard to the father?
No.
Why?
Because it had never been served to him. When I don't know his whereabouts, it's kind of hard to serve him.
Were the children ever receiving public assistance?
Yes.
From what state?
Here.
From the state of California?
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh is not an answer.
Yes, ma'am.
In what year did the children start to receive public assistance in the state of California?
2017 for some time, and then 2018 for some time.
When in 2018?
I believe in June until December.
And what happened in December? What happened in December of 2018?
I didn't renew it.
Died with Miss Hunsaker. Is not an answer. You should know when your children resided. 13 and 8 resided outside your home. Month and year that the children resided with Miss Hunsaker.
They were over there in October, and she kept them in 2018.
Just a second. So just tell me when she started. October of 2000?
Well, she held them from me, Your Honor.
Just listen to me. I don't care. Do you understand?
Well, the other judge did. That's why they denied her case.
I'm on a whole different track from you. I'm on a whole different track from you. In what month did the children begin to reside with Miss Hunsiger?
In October 2018.
Is that correct?
October 4th, 2018.
October 1st, 2018.
No, ma'am. October 4th, 2018.
No, it wasn't.
Until when did they reside with you?
May 10th, 2019.
So that means that for at least 3 months that I can count, you were receiving public assistance for the children. Did you turn over any of that public assistance that you were receiving to the children to Miss Hunsiger, who was taking care of the children?
No,
the answer
because
is no.
instead I filled up
Why?
her groceries. I put groceries in her fridge, Your Honor.
No, she did not, but she did use her food stamps once to buy 1 gallon of milk and 1 quart of orange
Just a second. I'm not asking food stamps yet. I'm just asking cash. Cash you
I didn't
get
receive any cash.
2018 to December of 2018 for the children. And if the children lived with her October, November, and December, then you got cash.
I didn't receive cash. I was working, Your Honor.
I don't care if you were working or not. You just told me that you were receiving
you said
welfare
and
for the
according
children.
To
for the children,
the state welfare is food stamps and cash.
Miss Cotton, you are.
So I was receiving food stamps. I was not receiving cash.
Okay. Well, I suggest that you should find out where the father of the children lived, because whether or not you made an agreement with Miss Hunsiger, a contract with Ms. Hunsiger to provide for necessaries for your children, you as a parent are required under the law of every jurisdiction to provide for necessaries for children: food, clothing, shelter, medical, all other necessaries for children. You're required to do that. Not a stranger. You're required to do that. And you didn't do it. That's what she's suing for. And she's entitled to it. So
I didn't
the only
provide their housing. That was it.
I don't care. You said you were working? Great. That's your responsibility. Now let's move forward to your counterclaim. You are counterclaiming her for the return for $5,000 for return of property, the children's property. What property do you allege that she has? Is not an answer. Let's go. What does she have?
Xbox console, my son's bike, my daughter's bike, their scooters, 2 iPads, my motorcycle helmet. She has all of their clothes, their shoes, their undergarments, bedding.
Is what your
toys.
Do you have anything that Miss Cotton brought with her when she deposited her children with you?
I do have the children's clothing. I have been trying since May 20th to get her to join me and sign for them in front of a notary for liability reasons. She has refused to do so. I have text messages showing each and every time I have tried to get her to sign for everything.
This is the answer, because no good deed goes unpunished. I'm going to suggest that you box everything. You live in the same jurisdiction?
Yes, ma'am.
With a police escort. She is going to, at 5 o'clock next Thursday, put the things at 5 p.m. next Thursday. She is going to put all the children's boxed things outside. You have a private house?
I do.
Outside of the house. If you do not pick it up at 5 o'clock, she's going to call a trash and have them removed. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect.
Fantastic.
If you're not there,
Thank you.
if the stand, you cannot come alone. That takes care of your counterclaim. Judgment for the plaintiff for the necessaries for the children in the amount of $5,000. We're finished. Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
She is money hungry as well as single white female.
Most of what she said was not true.
God is not on her side, and God doesn't like ugly.
The more you help others, the better a world we have.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Renison versus Corbisiero, step forward.
Kelly Renison is suing real estate agent Giuseppe Corbisiero for property damage and an injury caused by movers.
Mr. Corbisiero, this is your problem, sir. You have a real estate company.
Correct.
The plaintiff purchased a condo through your company. During the negotiation process, you said to her, if you buy a condo through my company, for which you get a commission, what do you get, 5%?
No, it was 2.5%.
You were co-brokered with somebody else?
Yeah, correct. There wasn't
that's not a, it was a 5% commission. You only got half because you were co-broker. If you buy the condo through my company, I'll throw in the moving. That's what you said to her?
No.
What is it that you said to her?
I said, once you purchase the condo, because you're a single woman, I'm going to be helping you out with the movers that we have with the other company.
So
it's different.
Right. I'd say you would take care of the move.
Correct.
And what happened was you sent a mover. Were you one of the movers?
No, I'm the owner of the staging company.
So you're not a moving company. You stage
Correct.
property. And you have a van.
That's my van.
This is van.
Your van.
Yes.
So you stage. It's a whole little business.
Correct. You got it.
Perfect. And the people who moved her damaged some of her property. That's what happened. And you said, well, she got it for nothing. And, you know, she said the TV was damaged. I bought her a refurbished TV, and they did damage the mattress a little bit, but I had the mattress cleaned, and I even offered to have it sewed. I mean, I read your answer. She said she wanted a new mattress.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Your agreement with her was buy it through me, and I'll move you for free. You could move her for free, but that doesn't mean you have to move her using people who were unskilled and damaged her property.
And later today,
Prior to giving her the deposit, did the two of you know each other?
I only knew her vaguely because of my boyfriend, which was her neighbor.
Are you sure you wanted to move right next door to him?
Kelly Renison says real estate agent Giuseppe Corbisiero owes for damage to her property and an injury caused by movers.
Your defense is she got moved. May not have been perfect, but she didn't pay for it.
Right.
It got thrown in. That's really your defense.
That's right.
She didn't. Wrong in the law. Your contract with her, whether you believe it or not, was if she purchased her condo through your company for which you received a 2.5% commission, which amounted to how much money?
$2,400, I would say.
Okay. And you have your own van. It's your van, so you weren't paying any van. And I assume if you have a staging company that stages apartments, you have other people that either work for you part-time or you pick them up on the street when you need to pick up people. They don't work for you full-time.
No, they do work for us.
They work for you full-time.
They work on, depending on the job, so they get paid per job.
So you do not have full-time employees that work on the books. They're part-time people that you hire per hour as you need them.
No, per job. It's not per hour.
Per job. So you would give them so much per job.
Correct.
Great. I'd like to know how much you gave them for the plaintiff's job. You should have to look at something. No guessing.
No, I remember. I got it here. So we paid, I believe, 8 hours. They got $240.
So you cleared about $2,000.
Sure. Gross.
Your problem is that once you take on the responsibility of moving her, you are responsible for any damage that's caused by the people who moved her. Because but for this agreement, she could have gone someplace else and bought the condo. Your agreement with her was buy it through me and I'll move you for free. Well, nothing's free. You could move her for free, but that doesn't mean you have to move her using people who were unskilled and damaged her property. You're not allowed to do that. So I'd like to see pictures of the mattress.
You mean the mattress that was bought on offer up for a couple $100?
I didn't understand a word you said. Oh, yeah, they damaged the mattress. You need a new mattress. You don't have to sew up a mattress. And it's filthy and ripped. All right, do you have a bill for a new mattress? Your new mattress is $4,328.
With tax.
With tax. Judgment for the plaintiff. Listen, if you got your head in the way of somebody moving, that's your problem. You look old enough to stay out of the way of people who are not doing their job. So if you got hit in the head by them, thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Great way to get a brand new mattress at the end of the day.
I think it was absolutely fair.
Just to help somebody that's a single woman and do it with her heart. And ended up actually getting sued.
Always go professional.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Maylee versus Russo. Step forward.
Loretta Maylee is suing Linda Russo for the return of a deposit on a trailer that she never moved into.
Miss Maylee, you're requesting the return of a deposit that you gave to Miss Russo for the purchase of a trailer.
Yes.
Prior to giving her the deposit, did the two of you know each other?
I only knew her vaguely because of my boyfriend, which was her neighbor.
Are you sure you wanted to move right next door to him?
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
What took you so long to get here?
I was trying to get a hold of her, and I thought maybe she might do the honest thing and give me my money back because I'm an honest person, so I thought she might be.
That's not being a dishonest person.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Loretta Maley claims Linda Russo stole her deposit on a trailer she never moved into.
No, you gave her the deposit when?
I gave her the $1,500 in cash.
And the total purchase price of the trailer was?
Was $2,700. I was supposed to give her the remaining balance on the 3rd of October, but when she phoned me, I told her I changed my mind.
Just a second. I want you to tell me what the conversation was when you purchased the trailer. You negotiated the price. What were you asking for the trailer, Miss Russo?
$2,700, dear.
Can you tell me why you were going to give her the balance 5 days later?
Because I'm on disability and I get paid on the 3rd, so I was going to give her the remaining balance on that day. But when she called me, I told her I changed my mind.
The question is, if your contract is done, you can't just change your mind. So when did she call you?
She called me on the 3rd. But we didn't have a contract. All I had was the receipt where I paid her the money.
Oh, you just told me you had a contract.
No, not a contract. It was just a receipt.
What you just testified to, Miss Maley, is that you had a contract. You bought her trailer for $2,700. You only had with you $1,500. The reason you were delaying the final payment to October 3rd was that you didn't get your disability check until October 3rd. There was no contingency. The sale was completed on September 27th. You made a contract with her. You agreed on a purchase price of $2,700. You gave her $1,500 of the $2,700 and said, will you wait for the balance because I get my disability in 5 days and I'll give you the balance. When you didn't come over with the balance, she called you and you said, I changed my mind. But you can't change. Once you have a contract, and the contract doesn't have to be in writing.
I didn't know it was like that.
Well, I know you didn't know it, but that's why you're here. That's what I'm telling you.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by.
Are you the victim of a scam? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
So now I'm going to move over to you. Do you still live in the trailer?
No, ma'am, I do not.
Who lives in the trailer?
Friends of mine, William and his girlfriend.
Are the friends of yours living there as owners or renters?
Owners. They bought the trailer.
And how much did they pay you for the trailer?
They gave me $1,000 for the trailer.
Well, Miss Russo, it seems to me that what you did was you turned around and you said, I'm using her money and I'm going to sort of give it to my friends for the $1,000. Do you understand?
Mm-hmm.
Well, why did you do that?
I had been in that park just too long, and I was just...
Wait, Miss Maley, you lost your deposit because it wasn't. It was a sale. You left it and said, I will finish paying you on October 3rd. That's not a refundable deposit. You can't change your mind. If she had sold the trailer for $2,700 to somebody else, then I would have made her give you back your money because she sort of mitigated her damages. She decided not to do that. She's under no obligation to. By the way, what took you so long to get here?
I was trying to get a hold of her. I made phone calls. She just ignored me. And I thought maybe she might do the honest thing and give me my money back because I'm an honest person. So I thought she might be.
That's not being a dishonest person. You can't change your mind. She had a closed deal for her property. Okay, we're done here. Thank you very much. Case is dismissed. Bye.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
Did she sweep up his customers?
I had no idea that this was prior his customer.
He slandered me. He called you a thief. Yeah, but you were.
Next Judge Judy.
I feel it is very dishonest and that she's a terrible person.
It was a verbal contract, and she broke it.
I always get it in writing.
She should learn.
Her cleaning job came with conditions.
What was the oral agreement you had with her?
For 3 years from the moment she stops working for me, she cannot take any of my clients.
But did she sweep up his customers?
Hal was his client.
Me and Lugina cleaned his house under her company, and we got paid. I had no idea that this was prior his customer.
He slandered me.
He called you a thief.
Yeah.
But you were.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Cleaning company owner Matthew Jaden is suing his former employee, Lugina Horoshchek, for stealing clientele from his company.
Order. All rise. It's case number 118 on the calendar in the matter of Jaden versus Horoshchek.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Folks, have a seat, please.
Mr. Jaden, you are the owner of a cleaning service.
Yes.
And you started that cleaning service as a young man. How long ago?
Approximately 7-ish years ago, around there.
Is that your only business?
Holistic physician.
What kind of training do you do to become a holistic physician?
So I had to go to a school of naturopathy and study holistic medicine.
Where?
Okay, I went to Trinity.
For how long?
It was a 4-year program.
And you graduated when?
I graduated about 2 years ago.
And where do you practice?
The Birmingham Royal Oak Medical Group, and that's in Royal Oak, Michigan, by the way. I also practice in, it's called Holistic. It's a new medical office in Royal Oak, Michigan as well. So I'm in 2 separate places as well.
In addition to this cleaning service, you have 2 medical practices. How many people do you employ in the cleaning service part of your business?
On average, usually I keep around 6-7 employees total.
And how much do you pay them an hour?
They're usually depending on experience, but usually it's around 12 to 17 an hour.
And how much do you charge your customers per hour?
Depending on what they need done, if it's a post-construction cleanup or if it's
it's a regular cleanup.
If it's just a regular, 55
Weekly.
an hour for 2 people.
55 an hour for 2 people.
Yeah, so it's $27.50 per hour per cleaner. 2 people is $55
No.
an hour.
We're going to go slowly.
Sorry about
Slowly.
that. All right.
$12 to $17 an hour
Right.
is what you pay your employees.
Right.
And you bill your customer for regular cleaning. How much an hour? And breached a contract with you who had worked for you. When did the defendant start to work for you?
Lugina started working for me. It was approximately September of 2017.
Did you have a written agreement with her?
Yes.
May I see it, please? Yeah.
There you go.
Thank you, Bird. Do you have a signed contract of hers?
I did have a signed contract, and it somehow mysteriously disappeared. It's in the open with all the supplies, but she did sign an agreement, but we also did have a verbal agreement as well.
Would you give this back to him?
Sure.
That may be a contract,
Take a step over.
but it's not her contract because it's neither signed by you nor her. Okay, so now you want to tell me, Mr. Jaden, that you had an oral agreement with her. And what was the oral agreement you had with her?
The moment she starts working for me to the end, until 3 years after she stops, she cannot take any of my, or solicit any of my customers or take any of my clients whatsoever. From that belongs to the company.
Do you recall having that conversation with him?
No, Your Honor.
Well, tell me what conversation you had with him when you started to work for him,
He
if you
told me
remember.
when I started working for him, if I don't touch his customers, and as I know, 6 months of the customer leaving him, I cannot touch that customer just 6 months afterwards.
Okay. Mr. Jaden, what client do you allege that Miss Horoshchek took from you?
Okay. So I have...
The name of the client.
The client is Hal.
Is Mr. here?
No.
And how many clients of your company did the defendant work for?
Several. I mean, she...
Many.
She did at least... she did around 2-3 jobs per day. So 2-3 houses every single day, 5 days a week.
And the one person that you allege that she took from you is this Hal.
Correct.
Now, it's up to you to prove that to me.
Okay, so I'm going to prove it to you right now. So Hal was a regular with me for approximately, it was about 3 years-ish, around there, that we were servicing him every 2 weeks. He would pay $110 every 2 weeks, and we would go there. You know, and that would obviously add up to be, you know, quite a bit per year. But anyways, what ended up happening was that they developed a relationship with Hal. And so, he was involved with their
Who's
church.
they?
Lugina and her husband.
Okay, so
They told me. Sorry.
So the defendant and Mr. Noonan developed a friendly relationship outside of their business relationship through church and whatever.
Right. So,
I mean, that's hearsay unless you know that, unless she discussed it with you. But let's say that happened.
This is how I found out. I have a key witness that lived with Lugina.
You have what?
I have a key witness here with me that lived with Lugina. She started working for me in January, roughly, of this year. Okay. That's Alexis. She's sitting right here.
That would be you?
Yes.
Yes.
And you live with her?
I did at the time.
Okay. Step up.
Okay.
Tell me your last name.
Yancy.
Tell me what you know about Hal and the defendant.
Well, I've known the defendant, Lugina, since I was about 13 years old. I've lived with her on and off over the years. She has her own cleaning company called Rose Maids.
No, don't look down.
Oh, sorry.
Look up here.
I just started cleaning with Matt, and we were just having a conversation generally, and I had said one of Lugina's clients named Hal. I had no idea that this was prior his customer. Me and Lugina cleaned his house under her company, and we got paid. I had no idea at the time that it was Matthew's customer, or a previous customer.
In what month and year was this?
This was like the first week of April of this year.
And you started to work for him in what year?
17, sorry.
And when did you stop working for him? Month?
Trying to think.
It was May.
Of 2019?
Yes.
And you and the defendant cleaned Hal's house together, but under her company?
Correct, under Rose Hal.
How much did you get paid?
I believe I got paid $50. We were there a couple hours.
Does that sound familiar to you?
It was 45, yes.
Well,
Your Honor.
Do you want to explain to me then how that happened? Because even under your best case scenario, Miss Horacek, Hal was his client. You started to work for Hal while you were under his employ, and as far as you told me, your agreement with him was that you would not, for 6 months after you left, work for any of his clients, which is perfectly reasonable. But his witness says that she worked with you at Hal's even before you left his company. Is that true?
Yes.
Well, you can't do that.
Okay.
And, Your Honor, I do want to mention something. There was no way I would ever say 6 months, because even on that contract...
It doesn't. Don't tell me about a contract that doesn't exist.
She did sign that contract. She saw the contract that she signed.
Listen to me.
Yes.
If I don't see it, it doesn't exist.
Okay, okay, I understand.
Well, I want you to be a good holistic doctor.
Yes.
Okay?
I'm actually a wonderful holistic
just a second. I want you to be a very, very good holistic doctor and listen.
You got it.
The first thing a doctor has to do is listen.
Absolutely.
Good?
Yes.
She has just said that she says she thinks it was a 6-month arrangement. I'm giving to her that it was a 6-month arrangement. What difference does it make? She took your client. She wasn't allowed to take your client during the period of time she did. You got to listen to your patients. All righty. Now, Hal was a client of yours for how long?
Around 2 years.
And let's say in a 6-month period, every other week, 2 people went in.
Right.
Which is $55 an hour. Did you calculate how much money you would have lost as a result of taking that client for a 6-month period?
Yeah.
How much?
It'd be somewhere around $2,500.
Not around. I don't do around.
$2,500.
No, that's a get. What is that?
You have it written down here.
You have to
I had it written down.
I have it written down here.
It
Miss
was.
Yancey, you could sit down now. How many hours a week did you charge?
About 2 hours.
So that's $110 a day, twice a month, $220 per month, times 6.
1320.
$1,320. That's 6 months. $1,320. That's what you owe him. You can't take his client. What?
Honor, I have a witness because when I meet in front of clients of his...
He called you a thief?
Yeah.
Well, you were. You stole his client.
But he was letting his old clients I used to do think I'm ripping their houses off.
Okay.
I have a witness to this.
You owe him $1,320.
Your Honor, before you make that, I also want to let you know that she did steal a lot of cleaning supplies from me while working for me.
$1,320.
I have proof of the cleaning supplies missing.
$1,320.
Okay. You got it.
Goodbye. Say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Thank you.
Sure. I have the
judgment against them.
I'm
just happy that justice has been served.
I think it was fair. She did a good job.
Once a thief, I guess always a thief.
It was one client, and I thought I was in my rights, too.
I mean, it's very frustrating, you know, I mean, but sometimes really there's nothing you can do.
Because he was overcharging his customers more money than what it was worth.
Yeah, well, she's lying about that.
I'm going to run my own cleaning company.
She doesn't have a professional bone in her body.
I'm going to be his competition.
Yeah, may the best cleaners win.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Barber versus England. Step forward.
Sherry Barber is suing her daughter, 22-year-old Chelsea England, for unpaid rent and bill without permission.
Miss Barber, this is your daughter.
Correct.
And Miss England, you were living in a mobile home with your father.
Correct.
And the mobile home was co-owned by you and your father?
Correct.
How long were you living in the mobile home with your grandfather?
I want to say about a year.
Who were you living there with?
My grandfather and myself.
When did your grandfather pass away?
January 13th.
Of this year?
Yes, ma'am.
And it is your claim, Miss Barber, that your daughter finally moved out of the trailer at your request and owes you for rent, utilities, and also sold some of the things that were in the trailer that belonged to your father.
Correct.
Did you and your father purchase it together?
Yes, Your Honor.
When?
He's been there forever. In 2002.
Prior to living with your grandfather, who were you living with?
I was actually on the road in the carnival. My grandfather wanted me to come home.
When you came home, what did you bring to live with your grandfather? What did you bring with you?
Just the clothes I had with me when I left.
After your grandfather passed away, did you sell any of the property from the trailer?
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Your mom said you can stay there until I sell it.
Correct.
I just don't know why we're here. I mean, we're talking about nonsense. We're talking about the whole trailer is worth $700. I'm asking you, why are we here?
Judge Judy.
Sherry Barber says her daughter, Chelsea England, owes for rent, bills, and for selling her furniture without permission.
After your grandfather passed away, did you sell any of the property from the trailer?
I did, with her permission.
What property did you sell from the trailer?
Refrigerator, I had to sell to make ends meet. The patio furniture, I had to sell to make ends meet.
Well, what ends did you have to make meet?
I have a 4-month-old baby. I was pregnant when I was taking care of my grandfather, and I gave birth about a month after my grandfather passed away.
Prior to that, were you working?
I was working until morning sickness and a high-risk pregnancy caused me to stop, in which case I still took care of my grandfather who was on his deathbed.
So after a brief period of time, you were not working, and you weren't working after your child was born. Tell me about the conversation that you had with your mom when she gave you permission to sell anything in the trailer.
I had asked her to come and get the stuff that she wanted, my brother wanted, and my stepdad wanted from my grandpa's house.
Well, just a minute. Why would you do that?
Because I had just given birth and I wanted, time with my newborn baby without a whole bunch of interruptions from everything else. It had been a month since my grandfather died.
Well, what made you think that since the mobile home belongs to your mother?
Right, and it was actually underneath the understanding that I could still
have the conversation.
When my grandfather was still alive, he was a witness to that.
I don't want to hear you witness. Your mom said you can stay there until I sell it.
Correct.
Did you say that she could stay there until you sold it?
I told her she could stay there, Your Honor. I was going to let her stay
there until you... Did you sell it?
It's in the process of being sold.
Okay, and how much are you selling it for?
All I can sell it for is $700.
Did you give your daughter permission to sell anything?
No, Your Honor.
What do you think she sold from the trailer?
The refrigerator, the patio set. The patio set was brand new. It was not even 2 years old.
I just don't know why we're here. I mean, we're talking about nonsense. We're talking about the whole trailer is worth $700. So if you had a refrigerator that was almost 20 years old in it, so you had some new patio furniture, I'm asking you, why are we here?
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
He is the father of your baby.
Legally speaking, yes.
What do you mean legally speaking? What does that mean?
The biological father of my child is deceased.
Who did you think was supposed to pay these bills?
February and March rent was supposed to be a baby gift for my son and a birthday present for me.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Sherry Barber says her daughter, Chelsea England, her furniture without permission.
I'm asking you, why are we here?
Because, Your Honor, she did not pay rent. I got the notice from the trailer park with the eviction notice with my name on it, and it says my name and other occupants that the rent wasn't paid, and it was an eviction notice from the place that owns our home. And I had to come up with the money to pay that.
How much money did you have to pay the trailer park? And from what month to what month? When did you move out, Miss England?
Almost a month ago.
Okay, so the rent was from when to when for the trailer park?
February and March I took care of for her so she could be with the baby.
Okay, so what months are we talking about?
May and June.
And how much was the rent on the trailer park?
The rent's $468 a month.
And who was supposed to take care of that? You were living there and you got married.
Correct. I got
Just
married.
Just a second. So now you, your husband, and your baby are living...
We weren't married at the time.
When did you get married?
We got married on the 19th of last month.
Okay, but he is the father of your baby.
Legally speaking, yes.
What do you mean legally? What does that mean?
The biological father of my child is deceased. And the February and March rent was supposed to be a baby gift for my son and a birthday present for me.
$936. Is that why we're here?
For that, for the water bill and for the cable bill that she ran up in my father's name.
In what?
The cable bill, that came up to $821.95 that she owes for that.
May I see the bill?
That's the cable bill.
What kind of cable did you have there?
Comcast. And that bill is resulting of after my mother and I both, as a team, tried to get the cable bill turned on into my name, so that would not happen, and she just never went through with it completely. I was waiting on something for her end.
We're going to always somebody else's fault. You're living there. You have to pay the expenses there. So far, it's $936 and $821. What's left?
We have the water bill.
Which is how much?
Which was never paid.
Just a second, from when to when?
The last payment was made was in January, right after my dad died, and the next payment was the one that I made to pay off the water bill.
May I see it?
Yes. And I have a letter here from my daughter of the money that I gave her for the part of the water bill.
Who did you think was supposed to pay these bills?
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by...
Are you in a family dispute? Go to judgejudy.com, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter.
Who did you think was supposed to...
Until she sold the trailer. I was never told I had to pay any of the utilities. I was never told I had to pay any of the rent. I would never received a copy of an eviction notice. She ended up turning off the water on me after she called CPS on me, and I do have actually her witness stating that she is the one that called on me, and she said that she's the one that called on me.
Okay, so far you owe your mother $2,852 for your living expenses when you lived in the trailer with your baby, with or without your new husband. She's not responsible. You're a big girl. You got to take care of your own expenses. If your grandfather took care of you...
I was taking care of him.
No, if he took care... You may have physically taken care of him. You didn't take care of him all the time because while you were with him, you got pregnant.
That was before he got sick. When my grandfather got sick, it was in May of when I first got pregnant. I was morning sickness, and I was the one that lived in home taking care of him.
I got it. You owe your mother $2,852. That's what you owe her. For your living expenses, your husband's living expenses, and your child's living expenses. Those aren't your mother's responsibilities. Judgment for the plaintiff. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Parties are excused. They step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
He didn't feel like I was going to be able to do the job sufficiently.
How is he discriminating against you? He's giving you an opportunity.
She wanted my husband before I married him. No, I've been with my husband for 19 years. She even told me beforehand if I left him, she'd pay everything. No. My mother called CPS on me and made my life a complete mess. Between the hot water tank being blown and how nasty her house was, I'm done with her. I want to move on. Someone took it upon themselves to try to save the baby. She lost that when she sold my son's stuff. It kills me because I watched that baby be born. Right to her grandson. I'd be able to see my grandson. It's time for us to start over. Time will tell, but I do love my daughter.
I want to know how you got the car.
A boyfriend's troubles put her in the driver's seat.
Why did you put it in her name?
I did not have my driver's license.
And that's alcohol related.
Right.
but it cost him his car.
Were you sleeping with him?
Yes.
That doesn't mean he gave you a car.
He owed me for driving him around for the last 4 months.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
Why?
Because it sounds ridiculous.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin.
Garrett Sakala is suing his ex-girlfriend, Nicole Beck, for the return of a car and the return or value of a car breathalyzer.
Order. All rise. It's case number 95 on the calendar in the matter of Sakala versus Beck. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Ma'am, have a seat.
Thanks, Bert. Mr. Sakala.
Yes.
The defendant was a woman with whom you were involved for a brief period of time. And according to your complaint, during that brief period of time, for some reason, you put a car that belonged to you in her name.
Correct.
And now you want it back.
Correct.
Do you want to tell me when you put the car in her name and why?
I put the car in her name on November 7th because I was awarded...
November 7th of what year?
18. I was awarded the car back in court from a previous girlfriend.
Okay. When did you buy this car?
January 2017.
And under what circumstances did a previous girlfriend have the car?
I was helping her out. The payments were very affordable, $251 a month. She was making the payments, and then the car broke down. She left it on the side of the road, so it got impounded.
In whose name was the car? The car back from a previous girlfriend, but the car was in your name.
And it could not be put into my name because I have charges.
Listen, I'm talking about the old girlfriend. I'm trying to figure out the provenance of this car. The car was initially in your name when you bought it. Don't shake your head. That's annoying. In whose name was the car when you initially bought it?
It was put into Mary Jo.
Okay, so when you initially bought it, you put it in Mary Jo's name.
Correct.
And you put down the deposit. You bought it in 2017.
Correct.
And you put it in her name. Why?
To help her out.
Why did you put it in her name?
Because I did not want to have a responsibility of it, and she was going to make the payments. My credit was already good enough.
Just let me see. You put it in her name because it was her car, and she was going to make the payments on it.
Correct.
Oh, well, that's a good reason for it to be in her name. She was going to pay for it, so it was going to be in her name. What happened?
The car broke down 2 months after she had it. It got impounded, and she stopped making the payments. Since the loan
Had
was...
you co-signed on the loan?
Yes.
Oh, well, there you go. So you were responsible for the loan.
Correct.
And what court gave you back the car?
Sherburne County.
Was that after a trial, or did Mary Jo... What?
Yes.
Was it paying for the car?
10 months.
So she was paying for it 2 months?
Yes.
And you paid for it for 10 months?
Yes.
And you were on the loan?
Yes.
How much is left on the loan on the car?
$8,600, I believe.
Now, you got possession of the car from Mary Jo, from the court. Bird, may I have that, please? On what date?
That was November 7th.
Great. And you got possession of the car on November 7th. Now, on what date did you put the car in the defendant's name?
The same day.
And that was because?
The car was in the impound, and I had to get it out of impound. The only way I could do that was to have it in a legal driver's name. I did not have my driver's license, so because I have some issues that are tied up in court right now, and I can't...
Well, that's not an issue. Telling me you don't have a driver's license, so you cannot drive a car legally. Is that right?
Yes.
And that's alcohol related.
Right.
So you took the car out. In order to get the car out, you gave the car to the defendant to put it in her name.
She offered to put it in her name.
Let me tell you, nobody can conjure up a story like you just told me unless you told her the story of how the car came in. She stopped making the payments. You made the payments for 10 months. Now, when you were making the payments for 10 months, did you have a driver's license?
No.
Who drove the car?
The car was undrivable. It had to be fixed.
You mean when you got it back from the judge, it was undrivable?
Correct.
When was the last time you made a payment on this car?
Still making payments every 11.
When was the last... When was the last time you made a payment on this car?
June 11th.
In what amount?
$251.73.
Has he been making payments on the car?
The payments he's making are not towards the car. They're for a personal loan that he took out to give the money to Mary Jo. There's no collateral. The cars are not collateral on the loan.
Can I see the title to the car? Are you working, sir? Are you working?
Yes.
Who do you work for?
Construction company.
Prior to that, where were you working?
In the oil field.
And where do you live?
Brainerd, Minnesota.
How do you get there to work every day?
I have a friend that picks me up every day because I still don't have a license.
What's your friend's name?
Andrew.
Does he work with you?
He does.
Miss Beck, when you and the defendant were together, did he ever drive the car?
Not the car in question, no.
Any car?
Yes.
What car?
It was a Oldsmobile Aurora.
Whose name was it in?
Friends of his that live didn't drive that, then I drove him around in my car.
Now, I want you to tell me under what circumstances you got this car.
When I met Garrett back in August
Don't read anything, just look at me.
2018, he was already in the midst of trying to get the car back. Mary Jo wasn't paying him under their agreement, but the car itself is paid for.
I want to know how you got the car.
She put it in my name. It's never been in Garrett's name.
She put it in your name for what purpose?
Because she was giving it up. It wasn't hers. She defaulted on making payments to him.
What year car is that?
2012.
So you made no payments on the car?
Myself?
Yeah.
It's paid for.
You made no payments on the car. You didn't pay for the car.
Because it's paid for. Yeah?
Yes.
It's paid for. Why would I make payments on a car that's paid for?
I want to know. Listen, very, very easy. Either you get the title back or you don't. I have the title.
I had the title, yes.
No, I have the title.
Well, now you have the title, yes, but I had the title.
No, you had the title. You used to have the title. So we're going to answer my question. I want to know under what circumstances it was titled in your name. Do you understand?
Garrett asked me to put it in my name.
He asked you if you would put it in your name so he could get it out of him because he doesn't have a valid driver's license.
And because he owed me for driving him around for the last 4 months.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
8.5-hour drive?
Just a second. That's ridiculous.
Why?
Because it sounds ridiculous. Were you sleeping with him?
Yes.
Then you drove him around. That's what, sleeping with him, drove him around, went out to eat, went away on vacation. That doesn't mean he gave you a car.
Yeah.
He didn't give you a car. You understood that you were getting the car titled in your name because he couldn't have the car titled in his name.
No, that wasn't the reason.
No, that was the reason. There's no question. That's what you just told me.
Also, my dad was going to fix it for him for free. That was the other reason.
Just a second. That was the reason because he didn't give it to you. The girlfriend, Mary Jo, put it in your name. That's what you just told me. Mary Jo put it in my name.
Because it's never been in Garrett's name.
Just a second. You weren't sleeping with Mary Jo. She had no reason. You weren't driving Mary Jo around. Do you understand? You're not getting the title back to the car. But you have a problem, sir. You can't have the car in your name.
That's right.
So what do you want me to do?
I brought Angie Sakala, my sister-in-law, to put it into her name. It's family.
The car's not in my name anymore either.
Who's Carolyn?
That's my niece.
So you titled the car in her name. What I have to tell you is this, sir. Mr. Sakala, you're actually suing the wrong person because the person who owns this car is Carolyn. I don't want to give this to you because I'm keeping this just to make it difficult for her.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Okay.
So I'm going to suggest that you sue Carolyn for the return of your car. I'm going to hold on to this, okay?
Okay.
And I'm going to give you an order to take to the DMV that if she sues or asks the DMV for a duplicate title, it's denied. Do you understand?
I understand.
That will slow down the process.
All right.
Good. Thank you very much. Bye.
Can I continue suing for the other items that she has taken from my house? My interlock device?
She says she doesn't have it.
Because she threw it, of course.
To test you whether you're driving and drinking?
Right.
She says she doesn't have it.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
There's a lot more to it, a lot more in depth.
Wow, Judge Judy handled it perfectly.
He still owed me, and that was part of the payment.
This girl is no good. I need to just get rid of her.
He held me down and choked me, and another, he pulled a gun on me.
She pulled a gun on me, actually, and I took her to the ground and disarmed her.
Taking care of myself since. Take notes. Always have a witness.
Learn a little more about girls before I actually date them.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Moore versus Clark. Step forward.
Dale Moore is suing his former tenants, Jerry and Brittany Clark, for unpaid rent and for causing damage to his rental home.
Mr. Moore, the Clarks were tenants of yours. For how long?
February 28th of this year would have been 2 years.
And when did they move out?
They moved out April 8th.
What was their rent?
$5.95 a month.
What months do you allege they didn't pay?
February, March, and April of this year.
Did you pay February's rent?
We did.
Do you have proof that you paid?
I didn't bring any proof with me. We actually were in the process of moving, and everything just...
How did they pay you? By check or cash?
Both, and they would do it in a drop box at my office.
Okay. Did you pay March's rent?
No, we actually had a verbal agreement that we would do work to the house in exchange for our rent.
Well, tell me about that.
Well, when we moved in, there were a lot of damages to the house.
I don't care about when you moved in. You lived there for 2 years.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
My grandmother passed away in November, and that's when we had to take out a huge loan to help with final preparations, which Dale was under. He knew. Right, I agree.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Dale Moore says his former tenants, Jerry and Brittany Clark, moved out owing for rent and damages to his home.
Now, I want to know what you were supposed to do to the house. Well, what was the agreement that you were going to do?
The agreement was that we were going to repaint the entire house, and we put up all new light fixtures. We fixed leaking plumbing issues.
No. I don't want to know what you did historically. I read your answer. I want to know when you were moving out in the month of March.
The agreement was... Sorry.
You already told me what you say your agreement was. Had you painted the house before?
We painted our own preferential colors.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yes. Had you painted the house before?
Yes.
Okay. And Mr. Moore let you paint the house before. Yes. What colors did you paint your preferential colors?
Well, it was beige, gray, and then our daughter's room was pink.
What room did you paint gray?
Gray was our bedroom, and then the main colors of the house was a beige.
And what rooms did you paint?
Every room except for our grandparents' room.
Whose grandparents?
Our grandparents. They lived with us because they were elderly and couldn't take care of themselves or afford to live out on their own.
How long did they live with you?
Theirs stayed the same color it was when we moved in, so white.
So when you moved in, all the rooms were painted white? Just follow where we're going. When we moved in, all the rooms were painted white?
Yes.
And you were repainting the house white?
We were told...
You were repainting...
No, we were repainting it a beige color.
Is that what Mr. Moore selected?
Yes. I texted him and I called him and he said that it was fine. I showed him the pictures of what the beige color in the living room and the kitchen. He said that that was fine to paint it throughout the house. And we got completely done except for little touch-ups in the kitchen.
But you had painted the other parts of the house beige yourself?
Yes.
And you were painting over that?
Yes.
And painting over the pink?
Yes.
And painting over the gray?
Yes.
Okay. Did you pay April's rent?
No, he actually told us that we wouldn't be liable for April. We would only be liable for the 3 days that we were there. Our lights were cut out on April 3rd, and we moved out on April 3rd, and the only thing we were there for...
Why do you think... Let's follow this through. You were a tenant with your daughter, an elderly couple, you and your husband, for 2 years.
Yes.
I am not seeking rent for any other months but February, March, and April, that you paid your rent for the entire 2 years.
Yes.
Where were you moving to?
We moved about 5 miles away from the previous house, Dale's house.
With whom?
Well, we moved because my grandmother had passed away, and we couldn't bear to stay in the house any longer.
You said they moved with you.
They did, but my grandmother passed away in November, and that's when we had to take out a huge loan to help with final preparations, which Dale was under. He knew about it.
Not his problem. He's your landlord,
right,
not your father.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You didn't pay February's rent by the last day that you were able to pay it, by February 8th, because you wrote him on February 9th and said, I will be paying February and March's rent. That's not a deal.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Dale Moore says his former tenants, Jerry and Brittany Clark, moved out owing for rent and damages to his home.
Now, so you stopped paying rent?
No, we continued paying rent in February.
How much are you paying rent now?
$400 a month.
So you're paying less rent?
Yes, ma'am.
When had Mr.
The 8th, he was asking us when the final day we would be out. And
when did he first ask you to move?
March 28th.
Is that correct?
No.
When did you first ask the Clarks to move?
I never did ask them to move.
When were you notified that they were moving?
February 14th. She sent a text message to give
May I
a
see
notice.
it?
Yes.
Well, this is very, very simple and straightforward. On February 9th, you wrote to him, hey, just wanted to give you, by the way, on what date was your rent due?
It's not past due until the 8th. So it's due on the 1st.
So it's due on the 1st
yes, ma'am.
And past due on the 8th?
Yes, ma'am.
So on February 9th, which is one day past the last day you were allowed to pay rent, I just wanted to give you notice we will be moved out by the end of March. Rent will be paid for February and March.
Yes, ma'am.
Is there anything else we need to do to get back our deposit? I know we need to paint, take down the ramp, clean out our stuff. Is there anything else we need? Okay, he said, thanks. Just text when you're out for inspection and return key. So you weren't out by the end of March.
Excuse me.
You weren't out.
You
weren't out until April 8th. You didn't pay February's rent.
I did pay February's rent, and we were told...
Just a second. You didn't pay February's rent by the last day that you were able to pay it, by February 8th, because you wrote him on February 9th and said, I will be paying February and March's rent. And I know we have to paint. That's not a deal, to paint instead of rent. I know we have to paint. Take down the ramp, which I assumed was for your grandparents.
Yes.
Is there anything else? He said, no, just let me know when you're ready to move out for an inspection and return of the key.
Yes, and when we
okay, so
when we
you
met,
owe for 3 months' rent. That's $1,500.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by... Have you been cheated? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Now, can I see pictures? May I see pictures, please, of the damage that you're complaining about?
Yeah. The damage is, and the claim for the damage is just non-refundable of the deposit they have on file. It's because they left debris and trash all in the.
Okay, fine.
And
sir,
I'm
listen,
sorry. I was looking
sir,
for
just one second.
Okay.
If that's what it's for, the part of the deposit, did you return their deposit?
No.
How much was their deposit?
$595.
And how much did you have to pay to have their trash removed?
It was over $595, but I think it's fair because I did some improvements to the house afterwards. That's beyond wear and tear of normal rent.
Okay.
So I'm just going to accept $595. It was into thousands because I did some improvements to the house. But I have pictures of...
Well, I don't have a counterclaim for security deposit, which you kept.
I understand. Yes,
Got
correct.
it. So they owe you, actually, it's $595. They owe you $1,785 for 3 months' rent. Thank you very much. Judgment for the plaintiff.
Funds are excused. They step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
The warning.
Never take in somebody whose own parent kicked him out, which is what you did. Yes, ma'am.
The regret.
The room was trashed. How did it get trashed?
Judge Judy.
No hard feelings towards Mr. Moore.
She saw through the lies that they were telling.
Leaky toilets, cut-off valves, broken brick that my daughter fell and hurt herself.
The damages that they say they repaired are the one they created.
Make sure that they aren't slumlords.
Have to start with.
Picked as the right person for a job.
The defendant knew that you were legally blind when he hired you.
Yes.
So how did he discriminate against you?
He said that I was a liability.
Then was she singled out?
He didn't feel like I was going to be able to do the job sufficiently.
How is he discriminating against you? He's giving you an opportunity to work.
You're right.
That's
But
all.
at
Just
the
say
same
say you're right.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
25-year-old Ashley Lee is suing Dr. Carl Robinson for unpaid wages, reimbursement for an iPad, and discrimination.
Order. All rise. It's case number 90 on the calendar in the matter of Lee versus Robinson.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated, sir. Have a seat.
Who are you, sir?
I am her husband. I'm sorry.
You're not part of this lawsuit.
Yes, ma'am. I was just helping her because she's blind and she can't see. I was just helping her.
You can have a seat for a moment.
Thank you.
Miss Lee, this is what I gather. You were court-ordered to go. Result of what?
Me and my husband had an altercation, and I physically slapped him.
Were the police called?
Yes.
Was this the first time that the police were called to your house?
Yes.
And did you, when you went to court, enter a plea in that case?
Yes, because it was my first... Sorry.
You entered a plea to what?
No content.
And your sentence was going to anger management.
Correct.
And the place where you went to anger management was a place that is run by the defendant, and the course was taught in anger management by his son.
Correct.
Is what I gather from your complaint. Now, in what month did she come for anger management classes at your school?
I believe, Judge, in January of 2019.
That is not true.
I like that.
Could you just tell me what month she came?
She came in July.
July of 2018.
That's correct.
And how long was your course there, Miss Lee?
6 weeks.
Did you attend?
Yes, ma'am.
No.
I'll let you in a second.
Okay.
Right now, sit.
Okay.
You attended?
Yes, ma'am, I did. The classes that I did miss, I was charged for, and I paid my courses.
Just a second.
So
that's not what I asked you.
Okay, okay.
The idea is not to pay for it. The idea is to go.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, during that...
Together our whole marriage.
And you are legally blind.
Yes, ma'am.
Were you legally blind in July of 2018?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, this is what your lawsuit is.
Okay.
Your lawsuit says that the defendant gave you a job.
Correct.
As an assistant in his anger management school.
Correct.
And that he did two things. He didn't pay you for work that you did.
Correct.
And that he fired you, and so you're suing him for discrimination.
Correct.
Now, clearly the defendant knew that you were legally blind when he hired you.
Yes.
So how did he discriminate against you?
When we went in for the interview, I told him about me receiving government assistance, and he did not want to sign the documents that I needed in order
You
for
get
me.
Government assistance for what?
I received Social Security, and I was trying to work so that I can receive child care to go back to school in the fall.
Just a second. His job did not impact your Social Security.
It would have, but he decided that he wanted to pay me under the table so that he wouldn't have to pay taxes on me.
Just a second. Well, paying you in cash under the table is only valuable to you.
No, it's not valuable to me because...
Just a second.
Okay.
He hired someone who was disabled.
Yes.
Did you have any experience at being an administrative assistant?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Give me the last job that you worked at.
Considered customer service as administrative assistance for me personally, but if that's not...
I want you to give me the name of the last place that you worked.
Walmart.
In what month and year?
I've been disabled since 2017.
Prior to 2017, where did you work?
I've done a lot of jobs. I've worked
Okay, so that the defendant gave you a chance at a job, knowing that you were disabled. So I'm trying to figure out how he discriminated against you.
He discriminated against me because when I came in with documents saying that I need this in order to go and get child care assistance, he refused to sign the documents that I needed in order because he said that I was a liability and that he didn't want to pay taxes on me. That is very true.
And?
That was
just a second. And?
I personally feel like he didn't want to sign it because he never had intentions on paying me, because I personally feel like he didn't feel like I was going to be able to do the job sufficiently, and because I am legally blind, he was going to...
Miss Lee, what doesn't make sense to me, put your hand down.
Yes, ma'am.
What doesn't make sense to me, madam, is that if somebody hires somebody who is disabled, and if it doesn't work out, How is he discriminating against you? He's giving you an opportunity to work.
The discrimination comes from him.
Now let's get to unpaid wages.
Yes.
From what date to what date did you work for Mr. Robinson?
I started working for him February 18th to March 7th, and I have those documents to show.
Okay, I'd like to see the documents. Your husband can help you.
Okay. I can show you on my phone because I didn't get the print off of it, but I do have it on my phone. Would you like to see it?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, here's the very first day of me working. So this is the very first day, and you can see the date. And then this is the day that he concluded the work experience.
I don't know what.
So that's 15 days.
You work more than that.
Oh, I'm sorry, ma'am. I actually didn't work Monday through Friday. I worked Monday through Thursday. But on the first...
Okay, Monday through Thursday.
Correct.
Per week. Right. So in total, you worked 12 days for the defendant. And how much... You could sit down. And how much were you supposed to get paid?
$300 every Friday.
Did you get paid the first week that you worked?
Yes.
The second week that you worked, did he pay you?
Yes.
The last 4 days that you worked, did he pay you?
No, ma'am.
So at most, he owes you $300.
Well, no, because I ordered an iPad, and so $1,339 to them. So
no, you told me that you returned it. Don't make that up.
I have to pay for that, and I have the evidence right here that I have to pay AT&T for that iPad and for the service that I used for that month.
We have computer equipment in the office.
That computer equipment doesn't work for my
I moved the
eyesight.
computer from one office to the other.
It doesn't work for my eyesight, and I have them, like I said.
Miss Lee, $300 is what he owes you at most.
No.
Now, I'm telling you,
okay.
$300 is what he. This isn't windfall day. All right. Now, did she work the last 4 days in March?
No, Judge, she did not.
Well, tell me what days she did work in March, because according to the, listen to me, according to the note in her phone, you say to her, I will have your money on Monday when we terminate our relationship. What money were you talking about?
The money for the last 2 days that she did work, which was Wednesday and Thursday. She was out on Monday of the last week.
The last week in March?
Correct.
I wasn't
Correct.
out. Okay. Yes, ma'am.
I have the text that said that she had to go to the Social Security office.
I'd like to see it.
And she told me that.
I was still working. Even though I was on the bus in 20-degree weather, I was still answering calls.
That was not our agreement.
No.
I need to.
May I see the email, please?
From the.
I was still answering calls.
Miss Lee, if you're not in the office, you don't get paid.
Okay. And I also have the evidence to show that I came back to the office by 11 o'clock.
She was supposed to have been in the office at 9.
Just a second.
I'm sorry.
Mr. Robinson, did she come back to the office that day?
I don't know, Judge. I have no way of knowing when she came back. I didn't know she had left the office. Didn't come in, so I had no way.
I definitely did come in.
Well,
I messaged him, and I have the messages to show that I was working that day, and then I asked to leave.
So you came in, and then you asked to leave?
Because I had an emergency, and I came back. Give me a second. I can get it together.
Great.
Yes.
I'll take both, Bird. Yes, she was in the office. She said, I have an emergency with my Social Security benefits, and I need to go to the office ASAP. I'm going to step away for the office for a second. So that was on Monday.
Okay.
Okay, so she was there on Monday. Was she there on Tuesday?
She said she had an emergency with her child, had to go to the ER.
I came back to the office again. I left the office. I'm sorry. I left the office, and I have the messages to show that I got in contact with my husband, and he wasn't able to get the baby. I had to go get the baby from the daycare, and I took the baby to the hospital.
Okay. Miss Lee, so far, Monday and Tuesday, on a 4-day week, you work part-time. And you took care of your, just a second, and you took care of your own personal business. I'm just stating facts. That's what you...
You're right.
That's all. Just say you're right.
At the same time, ma'am, it was times to where I had to leave one office and go to another office in Addison. So am I technically not working then? Because they asked me to go to a different office.
We're only talking about Monday and Tuesday. He paid you the first 4 days. He paid you the second 4 days. Now we're talking about the last 4 days that you worked, that you want to be paid for, the $300, which is what I'm wasting my time on this case. But according to you, the Monday and Tuesday of that week so far, you only worked part-time. You were taking care of your own personal business, whether taking your son to the emergency room or going to your Social Security office to take care of your Social Security benefits. You only were providing services for your employer part-time. Now, whether or not you're going to get paid for that is something else. But you have to acknowledge that, fine, then say I only work part-time on Monday and Tuesday. What about Wednesday?
On Wednesday, she did work on Wednesday.
And on Thursday?
Does he have proof of that?
Why would you want proof of that? He said you worked Wednesday.
Well, I'm just, I thought he said he didn't.
No, he said she said
You're
Wednesday
right.
she worked.
Let me be quiet.
Great.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And later today,
in the memo line of the check, it says gift from James Enoch to Savannah Harvey. But like you mentioned, this would be...
You don't have to tell me that I'm right, sir.
No.
I'm just telling you that I'm not hearing your counterclaim. Do you understand? Don't waste my time. I have other things to do today.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Ashley Lee claims Dr. Carl Robinson owes for wages, the cost of an iPad, and discriminating against her because she's legally blind.
Yeah. He said Wednesday she worked. And what about Thursday?
Thursday, she did work on Thursday.
Okay. And then you terminated her.
We talked on Thursday, and I couldn't get answers because her daycare. Yeah, we talked, yes.
You parted ways on Thursday. Listen to me. Make it easy for yourself, sir. I'm not going to split hairs with you. She did not come to work for a full day Monday. She didn't come for a full day Tuesday. You made a mistake in hiring her. This case is about $300. So $300, judgment for the plaintiff.
No.
Judge, I have receipt that shows that I paid her for those 2 days.
He did not pay me for anything. That's why.
It's right here.
May I see it?
It's right here.
You just seen the messages showing that he never paid me.
Sit.
Hey.
He's been sitting up there for about 10 minutes.
He never paid me. He specifically said, I will not pay you. In the messages, he said, and since he's supposed to
I'm reading something.
Let me get this together. Here you are. Here's the evidence to show that she said he will not pay me anything.
Brought our son to work with you.
I will not pay you anything. There you are.
Ashley. You brought our son to work.
I did bring our son to work, but it's
Monday you will send $220, and Friday, can I connect on this PayPal?
I paid her in advance, Judge, there, because she needed daycare.
That was the first week, and you paid me for the first week.
I paid you in advance.
You took it out of my pay.
Stop talking to each other.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
I read in the complaint, which is why I asked you in the first week, did he pay you anything in addition?
He didn't.
Okay. Anything in addition to the $300 wages for the 4 days? You said no.
He didn't.
I
have the messages to show.
Did he?
He paid me early, and he took it out of my pay on Friday. And I have those messages as well.
Okay. Did you take it out?
Yes, I did. I took it out.
Good.
I paid her the balance of
$80.
$300.
Judgment for the plaintiff. We're done.
Why is your excuse? You may step out.
I think we'll take a dime, and they're not dishonest people.
It's their personal opinion. I gave my full-fledged heart and
and they're hungry, and they're working every day. And then there's some people who take advantage.
Blood and tears into that job. And if anybody doesn't see my integrity, then it's perfectly fine.
Of other folk who tried to help, and I tried to help.
And I wanted to make sure that everybody's seen how much of a liar he was.
I think that you should weigh very carefully on even who you help.
And I'm perfectly fine with what happened.
And I've been helping people for 46 years.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Harvey versus Enoch. Step forward.
25-year-old Savannah Harvey is suing her ex-fiancé, James Enoch, for unpaid credit card charges, wedding expenses, security cameras, and a mortgage payment. James is countersuing for a house down payment.
Miss Harvey, how long did you and the defendant live together?
We lived together since 2011.
And when did you buy the house that you lived in with him?
On August of 2017.
And at what point did you start to plan a wedding?
I was proposed to on Christmas Day of 2017.
But you had been living together for 6 years.
Yes, ma'am.
Keeping house together.
Yes, ma'am.
Now it all didn't work out. And now you want me to try to sort out stuff. he paid the mortgage on your house.
Yes, ma'am.
You bought a wedding dress because you thought you were going to get married.
Yes, ma'am.
right? And it didn't happen.
Yes.
And you have to say goodbye. And so far, it sounds to me like you're $5,000 ahead of the game, Miss Harvey.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
25-year-old Savannah Harvey is suing her ex-fiancé, James Enoch, for unpaid credit card charges, wedding expenses, security cameras, and a mortgage payment. James is countersuing for a house down payment.
Now, when you bought the house in 2017, did Mr. Enoch put any money down on the house?
Yes, Your Honor.
How much?
$5,000.
When did you and Mr. Enoch break up?
On May the 22nd.
Of what year? This year?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, when you broke up, did you give him back the $5,000?
No, ma'am, I did not.
Okay. Now, you're suing him for your wedding dress and some credit card bills.
Yes, ma'am.
Right? And he's got a counterclaim because he says, you know, while he paid the mortgage while you were living together, he said he never got his $5,000 back. That was equity in the house. So,
I have a letter from James that I would like to give to you.
But you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, ma'am.
That he put down money, you spent money on a wedding dress, you spent money on some credit cards while you were living, books for his contracting license, and a mortgage payment that he canceled on your house that he was paying.
Yes, ma'am.
So after you broke up, he canceled a mortgage payment that was due.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, that's not fraudulent. You didn't want to pay your mortgage anymore.
At the time that he did that, he was still in the home. The payment came...
Do you understand what I'm saying to you? He's not going to pay you any money.
Okay. I have a gift letter from James for that $5,000 that he put down on the house.
I don't care. That's because you were a couple.
Yes, he signed it stating that he was never expecting to receive that money back in any form.
Well, then you got a windfall. We don't take care of people who live together for 6 years, live together as a couple. He paid the mortgage on your house, which was fine because that was your arrangement.
Yes, ma'am.
He put down the down payment because you intended on living together. That's why he spent the money.
Yes, ma'am.
You bought a wedding dress because you thought you were going to get married.
Yes, ma'am.
Right? And it didn't happen.
Yes.
And you have to say goodbye. And so far, it sounds to me like you're $5,000 ahead of the game, Miss Harvey.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by. Have you been cheated? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
You've got his $5,000, using license and everything, but I wouldn't have sued him. Now, my sense is that Mr. Enoch would not have sued you.
I did not intend to go down that route, Your Honor.
Right. That's my sense, that it didn't work out after 6 years. Everybody paid certain bills. You were living together as a couple. Didn't work out. You went your own way. It was a mistake. Just say goodbye to him. It's over. We're done.
If I could, Your Honor, I had a cashier's check made out in the amount of $5,000, and in the memo line of the check it says gift from James Enoch to Savannah Harvey, but like you mentioned, this would be...
You don't have to tell me that I'm right, sir.
No.
I'm just telling you that I'm not hearing your counterclaim. Do you understand? Don't waste my time. I have other things to do, too.
I just wanted it to be known she's also suing me for pain and suffering and all those other things.
I dismissed her case. What do you want?
I just wanted to speak on...
Say you wanted to say something.
Yes, ma'am.
Good, you said it. We're done. Goodbye.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
Mr. Swagger had me sell the vehicle because he owed me some money.
That never happened.
He told me to print up a bill of sale and write his name on it.
You remember that?
No, Your Honor.
Nah.
Judge Judy.
My maid of honor, who was the witness today, was having an affair with James, my fiance.
We had a toxic relationship that was coming to a close. She wasn't happy with the way it came to a close.
I did when I caught them in bed together moments later.
Well, it was actually kind of a funny thing. She's the one that initiated it. The partner swap is what it was called.
At that moment, I told her to pack her belongings and leave, and he said, I'm leaving with her, and he has been gone since.
It opened a can of worms that we couldn't close, I guess.
It is. It's going to take a lot of financial struggle.
She hasn't been an angel, and she's done the same, if not worse, to me.
But I will prevail, and I will be okay.
I had no idea she had my vehicle when I was incarcerated.
In for a surprise after getting out of jail.
Mr. Swagger had me sell the vehicle because he owed me some money.
You remember that conversation?
That never happened, Your Honor.
Of course not. Sit down.
Now, a bumpy ride is ahead.
He told me to print up a bill of sale and write his name on it.
You remember that?
No, Your Honor.
Nah.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is
Virgil is suing her former friend, Donnie Williams Swigert, for the return of money she paid for her car and reimbursement for repairs.
Order. All rise.
Uncross your hands, please. No, don't sit down. Stand up and uncross your arms. Very good. Thank you.
It's case number 36 on the calendar in the matter of Virgil versus William Swigert.
Thank you.
Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Have a seat.
Bert, before I start asking some questions, would you look up the book value of a 2002 Ford Expedition? Mr. Swagert, for how long were you incarcerated?
Almost a year, Your Honor.
From when to when?
From April to January 1st.
And how long did you know Miss Virgil?
Several years, probably 10 years.
And you were the owner of the 2002, the time you were incarcerated, Ford Expedition.
Yes, ma'am.
Who did you leave in charge of that car?
My son was driving the car for work.
Now, I'd like you to tell me what you know, Mr. Swagert, about how Miss Virgil got possession of your car.
At this particular day from...
I'm talking about while you were incarcerated.
Oh, I had no idea she had my vehicle when I was incarcerated.
How and when did you find out that she had your vehicle?
January 6th from the...
That was after you were released from prison?
Yes, I was released January 1st. January 6th, I received a letter from American Family Insurance.
May I see it?
I didn't bring that actual letter with me, no.
Well, then don't tell me what the letter said.
Okay.
When you got out of jail, where did you go?
Home.
Didn't you miss your car?
Well, the car had a title lien on it, so I assumed that while I was incarcerated, the lien company had repossessed it.
Because it wasn't there.
Right.
How much had you borrowed on the car?
$2,000.
Did you ever sign any document that indicated that Miss Virgil had any right, title, or interest in your 2002 car?
No, Your Honor.
How much is the car worth, Bert?
$2,293.
$2,293. Now, Miss Virgil.
Yes.
I want you to tell me how you first got possession of Mr. Swagert's car.
I bought it from my witness.
From him? Mm-hmm. Tell me your last name, sir.
Smith.
How did you come to sell Miss Virgil Mr. Swaggert's car?
Okay, first of all, Mr. Swagger had me sell the vehicle because he owed me some money for repairs for a vehicle. So I sold the vehicle to her, and it's something that he knew.
Okay. So Mr. Swaggert, who you knew,
Yes.
and you had done some work on another car, and you communicated with him in jail?
No.
Well, how did you communicate with him so that you had permission?
I recently talked to him. I talked to him once about him owing me the money for the car. I mean, for the opening money. So he told me, go ahead, sell the car and keep the money.
Well, tell me, sir, when you had that conversation. What month and year?
I couldn't really tell you offhand, but it was...
No, I want you to tell me on hand.
Look, it was...
Month and year.
Look, it was the end of last year.
And you spoke to him how? How did you have that conversation?
A three-way phone call.
Three-way phone call with whom?
With him. He called me on a three-way phone call. Somebody called, he called somebody, and they called him.
And he was in prison?
Yes.
You remember that conversation?
That never happened, Your Honor.
Of course not. Sit down. So you have somebody who you say is going to sell you a car that was worth $2,200 for $500.
Yes.
That's a very good deal.
It is.
And when did you make this very good deal with Mr. Smith?
It was around Christmas of last year.
And when you made this good deal, you gave him $500 in cash?
I sent it through Walmart to Walmart.
And did you get a title?
No. He had a...
The answer is no.
Okay.
You just got the car. And where was the car?
In Green Bay, Wisconsin.
Where was it? In a house, in a garage?
It was at about the same length of time I've known him.
How did you get the car from his house?
I got a ride to Green Bay and came and got it.
And then you drove it back to your house?
Mhm.
That was in December?
Yes.
Did you drive the car in January?
Yes.
The whole month of January?
Yes.
Did you have an accident in January?
December 31st.
The same month that you bought it?
Probably like a week after.
So 1 week after you got the car, it was in an accident, which you say wasn't your fault.
No, it wasn't.
Was the car towed?
Yes.
To where?
To... It was in Gurney, Illinois. I forget the tow place.
Okay.
But I have a receipt.
Fine. That's all right.
Okay.
Car was in an accident. How did it come about that you drove the car then the whole month of January?
Because it was just the front right fenders that was messed up and the light.
So you managed to get it out of towing?
Yes.
And you were able to do that without a title?
Yes. I printed up a bill of sale. I spoke with him. When he got out of jail on the 1st, I spoke with him. It was either the 2nd or the 3rd. And he told me to put his signature on the bill of sale and mine and put that I bought it on the 24th. And they let me get it out with that.
He told you to tell them something?
He told me to print up a bill of sale and write his name on there and my name on there.
You remember that?
No, Your Honor.
Nah. Oh, whatever. So you got the car's name, forged his name, you got the car out, and then you drove it the whole month of January?
Yes.
Did you drive it in February?
Yes.
Whole month?
Yes.
Did you drive it in March?
Yes.
Are you still driving it?
No, the last day I had the vehicle was March 23rd.
So you drove it January, February, and March?
Yes.
And for that, you paid $500 for the car?
Yes, I had to do a lot of repairs to it, too.
You paid $500 for the car?
Yes.
And then what happened to the car?
Donnie had the Kenosha police.
And he got his car back?
Yeah.
Right. Now, not only did he get his car back, but because the accident was somebody else's fault, he got the insurance check.
Yes.
All of which you want.
Yes, and my money for repairs that I put in there.
I'd like to see the repairs that you put in the car.
I have all of my receipts.
Just a second.
I'm sorry.
I just want to see the repairs that you put in the car. Show me.
That's all it is. This is the tow thing.
Well, in February, you did an oil change. It's okay. I don't know what that is. 2 rear lower control arms. What is that?
I don't know. It's some part that goes without them.
Well, it did operate without them because you drove them in January and you drove it in February without it.
No.
Because this was done February 11th. So you drove it the whole month of January
Well,
without
they broke. They broke, and I had to get them repaired.
I don't know what it is that you want. I'm trying to think of what you want. You had no permission to have his car. This man sold you his car without authorization. There's no proof that there was any authorization by Mr. Swaggart for this man to sell his car. He decided that Mr. Swaggart owed him some money. He had one of Mr. Swaggart's cars, and he sold you that car without a title, without anything, for $500. I guarantee you that you didn't put insurance on that car when you got it.
Yes, I did.
You did?
Yes.
With what company?
State Farm.
Is State Farm the company that paid on your claim?
No, American Family Insurance did. But I have text messages that he knew that I had the car. He was fine with me having the car. I asked him to...
Oh, well, let me see that, please. I'm actually interested in that. Right now, Mr. Swaggart, you're making out like a bandit. You got $2,000 from the insurance company. Is that right?
Yes, Your Honor, 1960.
You got $2,000 from the insurance company. You had a $2,000 lien on the car. Do you still have the car?
Yeah, the truck is sitting in my driveway.
What?
The truck is in my driveway. It doesn't run, Your Honor. It's severely damaged beyond what they said it was. I had to pay.
But you had to pay what?
To get my title, to get the actual ownership of the vehicle. I mean, I still took a considerable loss.
You went to jail and you thought that they had repossessed the car, Mr. Swaggart.
Exactly.
That's why you didn't open your eyes and say, gee, my Ford Explorer is gone. Because you owed $2,000 on a $2,000 truck. You figured, okay. Let me see these emails. You say, you know... I'm not so sure that he, based upon these emails, that he knew that this car was sold.
He did know. He was supposed to send me an email saying that he sold it to me so that I could try to get the title from the title loan place.
I know. Okay. Okay. So you paid off the car,
Well,
right?
I made a payment. I couldn't pay it off because of the accrued interest during the time that I was incarcerated.
How much of a payment did you make?
$1,500.
And you kept $450 for yourself?
No, I used that to attempt to repair my vehicle, but it was more damage to it than what I assumed it was. I have pictures of the damage if you want to see it, and I also have a report from the insurance agent that looked at the vehicle when it was taken in.
So I have to figure out sort of what's fair.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And later today,
they asked me if they could borrow. I wanted to write an agreement to make sure I got my money back.
Remember that?
I do.
Okay. Did you ever give him back the $750?
Do what?
Did you ever give him back the $750?
real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
LaShonda Virgil says, former friend Donnie Williams Swigert owes for the cost of a car and repair costs. Donnie is countersuing for car damages and lost wages.
I want you to think of you renting a car for $250 a month for 3 months. That's $750. You rented a car. You had the use of a car at $250 a month. That's pretty reasonable. So don't think of yourself as being out any money. Just think of yourself as renting a car. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I do.
Very good. And I don't see how you're out any money, sir, because you have a counterclaim. And I don't see how you're out any money. You told me when we started this case that you had a title loan out on the car.
Mm-hmm.
The car is worth $2,000. You had $2,000 out. The insurance company paid you $2,000. And you still have the car sitting in the driveway. So now you have no lien on the car anymore. At least you shouldn't have, because you should have. You shouldn't have any lien on the car because the insurance company paid you a check that's almost the same. So you shouldn't have it. And you still have a much better place now than you were financially with that car than when you went to jail.
Not necessarily, Your Honor. I was making
not
payments.
your necessarily, mine necessarily. Goodbye.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I did know that there was a title lien on it.
I have no comment.
My car broke down and I needed a vehicle.
I have no comment.
It's a lesson learned. Don't buy anything without a title.
I have no comment.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Kiefer versus Stagner Cornell, step forward.
23-year-old Michael Kiefer is suing his former friends, 21-year-old Tristan Stanger and girlfriend, 22-year-old Marissa Cornell, for an unpaid loan to fix their car.
Mr. Kiefer, this is your case, correct? Yes. And who are you?
I'm his fiance.
And are you here to assist him with the paperwork because he has problems with his sight?
Yes.
What's your name?
Angel McGee.
Mr. Kiefer, there came a point when you needed a place to stay.
Yep.
Not yep, that's yes. And you knew the defendants from where?
We've been friends for a while.
So you asked if you could move in with them?
Yes.
What was your rent arrangement with them?
There was no rent arrangement when I moved in.
And when did you move in?
February 4th.
Stay there.
Until April 14th, I would say.
Of 2018?
Of 2018, yes.
And while you were there, the defendants either damaged their car, they needed a vehicle. Why did you need a vehicle?
For transportation, so I can get her back and forth to work. Not only that, it's just in case for
What about you?
emergencies.
Do you go to work?
I wasn't working at the momentary. I was a stay-at-home dad.
You weren't working at the moment.
No.
Not the momentary. You weren't working at the moment. You're a stay-at-home dad for whom?
My stepkids.
Her children?
Her children, that I claim as my own.
How old are your children?
My son will be 5 in November, and my daughter will be 2 in August.
And how long have you and Mr. Stager been a couple?
We've been off and on for the past 2.5 years.
But he's not the father of your 2-year-old?
No.
No. Does he always stay home and you work?
No, he's working right now, and I'm staying home.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
The 4 of you were paying about $350. How much was his one person supposed to pay?
However much she agreed with him.
Then you didn't pay anything for him.
We did. We paid a lot of money just for him to stay there.
Show me that you paid anything for him.
Real cases.
Kiefer says former friends Tristan Stanger and girlfriend Marissa Cornell owe for a loan to fix their car. The couple is countersuing for transportation costs, rent, and bills.
So you needed a car, and Mr. Kiefer gave you $750. On what date did you give them $750, Mr. Kiefer?
March 1st, 2018.
Tell me the circumstances surrounding you giving them the $750.
They had car troubles. Their recent car just broke down, and so they knew that I got my tax return, and they needed another car to get to and from work, and just in case an emergency happened. So they asked me if they could borrow the money. I said yes, but before I did so, I wanted to write an agreement to make sure I got my money back.
Did you write an agreement?
Yes, I did.
May I see it?
Yep.
Yep is not enough.
Yes, sorry.
Could you show this to the defendants, please? Thank you. Remember that?
I do.
Okay. Did you ever give him back the $750?
Do what?
Did you ever give him back the $750?
I don't.
It's easy. Now, you have a counterclaim. Money owed for transportation, unpaid rent, and bills. The plaintiff came to live with you in February of 2018. Tell me about that. He came. How did you know that he needed a place to stay? Ms. Kiefer, I'm talking to you.
Me?
You. I'm looking at you.
I pretty much left everything up to him because they were mainly friends.
So you never had a discussion with Mr. Kiefer?
About living there? No.
No, only your boyfriend did.
Yeah, and our other roommate.
You have another roommate?
Well, pretty much she's not the owner of the house, but the one that was there when we asked her if we could move in. She was the one that said that he could move in, but it was mainly up to her. It was her choice. Because we would just be paying his rent.
How long did you live there?
We moved in around early December, and we left around late April, early May.
Where did you go?
We separated, and I went to my baby daddy's mom's house, and he went to his aunt's house.
Did you ever get back together?
Yeah.
When?
A couple months after that.
Are you still together?
Right now, yes.
Great.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by. Have you been cheated? Go to judgejudy.com. Us on Twitter.
This was in 2018.
Yes.
When you left the house, he was already gone. He left on April 14th.
Yeah.
Did either you or your boyfriend sue him for rent?
No. We thought that if we were paying his part, we were helping him with the car because we owed him for the car.
But he was only there 2 months. Even if you were paying his portion of the rent, he's one person. You're 5.
My rent varied.
No, the 2 of you and your 2 children. How much were you paying in rent?
So rent was
that's not a hard question. How much were you paying in rent?
About $350 just for rent for me and him and the kids.
The 4 of you were paying about $350.
Just for rent, because we split it.
How much was his one person supposed to pay?
However much she agreed with him.
Then you didn't pay anything for him.
We did. We paid a lot of money just for him to stay there.
Well, show me that you paid anything for him.
I can show you the messages that me and her, I asked her how much total that we paid for him.
Can I see what she's talking about, please?
Michaela's the one that let us come to the house.
What'd you say? Staying there from January to April, and somebody said like $820 just for Mickey. That includes utilities. Utilities and rent. I probably had about $80 for food. He ate a lot of food. You guys paid for a lot of food, and he ate so much of it. With his food stamps, he pretty much only bought candy and junk food. That's true. I just needed your confirmation. Okay, you owe him $750. We're done here. Thank you very much. Finished.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
Were you sleeping with him?
Yes.
That doesn't mean he gave you a car.
He owed me for driving him around for the last 4 months.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
Why?
Because it sounds ridiculous.
Judge Judy.
Suing me for the vehicle, which I was going to countersue him back for all the rent we covered.
Because I've given multiple opportunities to pay me back for what I
all the transportation to his eye doctor to have surgery and stuff like that.
Bought for them, and they decided not to.
Because he had nowhere else to go. He was desperate for a place to live.
He helped me out with a place to stay, but it wasn't really him. It was Michaela.
We turned around and gave him a place to live, and now it's all down the drain.
I mean, I'm very disappointed because
You're fighting over your mother.
There's little love between brother and sister.
This woman stole money from my mother.
Did you go into your sister's church and scream that she had kidnapped your mother?
I have the police report here, and he got a misdemeanor for lying to the police.
And a surprise from another brother.
What do you want to say?
I just want to point out the character of this man.
You don't have to point it out. I got it.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Daniel Balianu is suing his sister, Marcella Roseberry, for slander, defamation of character, false accusations, and a false restraining order.
Order. All rise. It's case number 132 on the calendar in the matter of Balianu versus Roseberry.
Thank you.
Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Folks, have a seat, please.
Mr. Balianu, this is your sister, and you're all fighting over your mother. How old is your mother?
She's 73.
And how long has she been diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease?
I forgot what date, but it was recent.
Suing your sister for damages for slander, defamation of character, and filing a false restraining order that she filed on behalf of herself and your mother. Let's start first things first. Slander. You want to tell me how your sister slandered you?
Your Honor, initially opening up a public record in a court of law that I abused my mother, and there was the judge found that there's no evidence.
Just a second. The court case that you're talking about that involved the slander, is that the same court case for the restraining order?
That's one of the issues, yes.
So that the slander is part of the filing false restraining order?
Yes, Your Honor.
So that I don't have to hear anything other than let me see what your sister filed in an attempt to get a restraining order.
Yes, Your Honor.
These are a lot of papers here. Money owed for slander, which is part of the filing of a restraining order, which I'm going to look at. Your mother would be really happy everybody's fighting. What is your mother's name?
Eva Balianu.
She filed this restraining order.
That is not correct, Your Honor. It was falsely filed by Marcella impersonating my mother. And to correct the record that you said, Your Honor, the restraining order was not on Marcella's behalf.
Just a second.
It was on.
This says the reason the request for a restraining order was made because it says my son Daniel went into my apartment without my permission. He told my other son, Gabe, that he still wants money from me that was given to me by the court for the sale of the house. I want to go home to my apartment, but I am afraid he is there because he has been mentally and physically abusive to me.
May I, Your Honor?
Yes.
So those statements are completely false, and I have the evidence to prove that those statements that were made there are completely false.
What difference does that make? Your mother signed this.
Right. My mother, having the Alzheimer's way back before
Your
she said...
mother signed this.
That's not my mother's handwriting, and she did not agree to that statement in court in testimony, Your Honor, and I apologize.
Just a second.
Yes.
If what you're saying is you have statement under oath by your mother in a court proceeding that she did not sign this document, I'd be more than happy to see it. Show me.
In page 45 and 46 in the transcript, it shows...
Don't tell me what it says. Show it to me.
45 and 46.
That's ridiculous. It doesn't say that she didn't sign this at all. What the court is asking her in this transcript, do you want Daniel to be able to visit with you, come to see you? Like I told you, if you're going to make the decision on protection for me, that's what she says. She never says she didn't sign this. Daniel,
yes.
She never said she didn't sign it. That's your mother. Has nothing really to do with your sister anyway.
Your Honor, I apologize. The statement that was made, supposedly made by my mother, was proven by what you just read, that she wants to visit with me and not afraid of me.
Give this back. That's not what it says at all, sir. What I'm telling you is your mother did not say unequivocally she didn't want to visit with you. She said, if you can protect me, I want to visit with him. That's what she said. So let's get to your next cause of action, Daniel, and don't waste any more of my time.
I'm sorry, Your Honor.
Defamation of character. Is the defamation of character related to the filing of these documents?
Yes, and an additional.
What is the additional document?
In public, on social media, she had defamed me and said that I abused my mother when that never happened.
I'd like to see it. Who's J-H-O-N-B?
Yes, that's my brother.
Your Honor, it's a group conversation that she was involved in it. If you read the whole thing.
I'm not reading the whole thing. It says, Steve, you can't take care of yourself. You and Danny, this is to Steve, will be held accountable. You will be put in jail and the family won't miss you. Why? Because you two have done nothing but cause us heartache and trouble. You need to get sober. You need to take responsibility for yourself and your actions. Long, short of the story, grow up and be a man. Don't contact me again because I'm going to get a lawyer and make sure that you and Danny stop making a joke of the law once and for all and be held accountable. That is not slander. They can say exactly what they think. You don't want to have a conversation with them. Don't have a conversation with them.
Your Honor, it was a group text message would defame me.
Do you want them to only say nice things about you in a group chat? Perfect. Now we're done with your case. Now, you have a counterclaim.
Yes, I do.
And it says that your brother filed a false claim against you to Protective Services.
Yes, he did.
I'd like to see the claim. What kind of work do you do, Mr. Ballinu?
I'm an IT professional, Your Honor.
When you and your mother bought a house several years ago, how much was the house?
About
$2,500.
Yes, Your Honor.
In what year?
1996.
Who lived in the house?
It was myself, my mom, and my dad. We bought it together. We're on. Yes.
I'm asking questions.
Okay.
When was the house sold?
December 2008.
How much was it sold for?
$350,000.
So it was $350,000 in profit.
No, Your Honor. By the time everything was done, we ended up with $100,000.
Had somebody taken out second loans on the house?
We refinanced.
That's either a yes or a no.
I refinanced the house, yes, Your Honor. And I did have some cash to fix the house up. Correct.
You refinanced the house. In what year did you refinance the house?
I believe it was sometime in 2003.
How much did you get?
Roughly around $30,000.
What did you do with the money?
I spent it on fixing the house.
In 2008, in whose name was the house?
Mine, alone.
How did that happen?
My mother and my dad signed a quitclaim deed. They were scared off by their church that the government was going to take the house away if my dad passed away.
Careful. Listen to me. Your mother and father signed a quitclaim deed so that the house was solely yours in 2000 and what?
The quitclaim deed was signed on June 6, 2000, Your Honor. I apologize for the date. And the 26th of May, 1998.
Who had put in the money when the house was purchased for $182,500?
I and my mother.
How much money did your mother put in?
About $14,000.
How much money did you put in?
Over $25,000.
Did someone have to direct what percentage of the sale of the house your mother got?
Only I.
Is that correct?
No.
Now you can speak. You're a sibling, I assume?
Yes, I'm a sibling.
Who directed that your mother get money?
He had an attorney. My mom and my sister had an attorney because they were also on the house.
And how much was it directed that your brother give of the sale of the house to your mother and sister?
None, because it was the attorneys that gave the money. My mom received 42%. He received the other 58%. He did not give her one dime.
Well, your mother got 42%.
Yes.
Of the sale of the house.
Of the sale of the house.
Which at that time was $300,000 and some odd thousand.
Yes.
So your mother got maybe $180,000.
Whatever the math is, yes.
Has she been living off of that money?
Yes. Well, it's been a few years, so I'm not sure if she has it all left or...
She had to pay...
She lives independently at home.
Yes.
What kind of a residence does she live in?
It's a senior living facility.
Who takes care of the finances?
She's on housing, so her share is $232 a month.
Now, if she's on housing, that means that she had to have dissipated all of her funds in order for her to get money. I'm just putting the family together so that I understand that. Did your mother give any of the children money of this $180,000? Look at me. did your mother give you any part of the $180,000?
She did give me some money, yes.
How much money did she give you?
She gave me...
look at me. Don't look over there. Look
she
here.
gave me a few thousand.
What's a few?
Like 5,000.
When?
When I bought my house, but we're paying her back. So...
Did she give you any money?
Not a dime.
You?
Well, she gave both of us for the house, yes.
How much did she give you? She's allowed to give you money.
Yeah, she gave me money
She's
for the
allowed to
house.
give you money. I'm just trying to get what's going on.
Yeah, she gave me money.
How much money did she give you?
She gave me like 5,000 to put down on my house.
And then?
Sometimes she gave me money here and there.
Right.
But, yeah.
Did she ever give you any money?
Not a dime.
Did you know that your mother had given your sister money?
Yeah.
Just want to know. Got it.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Stay away from your sister.
Your
Did
Honor,
you hear
may I
that?
explain?
No. Stay away from your sister. Don't go to her church. Don't go to her place of business. Stay away from her.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Daniel Balianu says his sister, Marcella Roseberry, slandered and defamed him when she accused him of abusing their mother. Marcella is countersuing for a false claim to Adult Protective Services.
I didn't see Adult Services complaint.
He reported me to APS, and I had to get investigated.
So what? If your brother is saying, my sister is in charge of my mother's finances, and she's in charge of things, she takes care of things, and I know that my sister never had any money, and all of a sudden my sister is buying a house, I think that my sister may be taking advantage of my mother. Investigated. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, and nothing was
wrong
found.
with that. That's okay. You don't have to find something bad every time you look, but you're allowed to make a complaint unless it's made maliciously and without any basis in fact. I just found basis in fact, and I hardly know you people, that your mother, who you say has Alzheimer's and dementia, gave you money to buy. And if she gives you money here and there, some people might say, listen, that's a little elder abuse. Listen, your mother would be, if she was a nice lady, and I assume she was a nice lady, would be so miserable to know that her children ended up fighting in court. What do you want to say?
I just want to point out the character of this man.
I know it. You don't have to point it out.
Okay.
You don't have to point it out. I got it.
I appreciate that.
I got the whole picture. Okay?
Your Honor, he even reported me for kidnapping my mom because I moved her from Anaheim to, I have the police report here, and he got a misdemeanor for lying to the police on here.
I know who he is. You're suing him for making a false report to Adult Protective Services. That's what you claim.
Yeah, and the kidnapping one.
That's what you claim.
Man.
Let me see. You say he called Adult Protective Services and claimed that I had kidnapped and neglected my mother. The claims were proven false and unfounded.
Yes.
On February 10th, he stormed into my church in the middle of church services and charged me, screaming that I owed him money and that I kidnapped my mother in front of 200 people. Did you go to her church?
Your Honor, I went to
either
go
a yes
look
or
after
a
my
no.
mother, initially to set time with the court to visit my mother. My mother and I made a phone conversation that, yes, we're going to meet, took her away specifically for me not to visit with her. The court ordered that I could visit on the certain days, and only certain days, and I have that evidence. And I went to go look for my mother. My mother told me that she was going
Did
to
you
the
go
church.
to the church?
Yes, I did, and looking for my mother.
Looking for your mother doesn't mean that...
Yes, Your Honor.
Looking for your mother means going with a police officer and saying, let's go and see if she's at church. Maybe she's in church. Going to a church and screaming in front of 200 people at her is not looking for your mother. Did you go in to your sister's church and in front of 200 people scream that she had kidnapped your mother?
It was after church when everybody was talking in the church.
Your Honor, I actually
Yes.
have audio of that. We were.
I'd like to hear it.
Okay.
You testify constantly in the court of law, and I'm the guy that got defended. And I'm going to see my mother's side of my defended out there. I need to come to
was it.
Did you request a protective order to keep him away from you?
I requested it. I didn't put all my evidence together, so
the answer is
I requested it for myself, yeah.
But then it was dismissed.
I didn't know that I could extend it because I had a court date with him on that day because he filed a restraining order on me, and it was dismissed because he.
Mr. Fowler, stay away
from
your
false.
sister. Stay away from your sister.
Your Honor, may I explain?
No. Stay away from your sister. Don't go to her church. Don't go to her place of business. Stay away from her.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
This woman stole money from my mother, and she abuses my mother. She took that money from her, $50,000 that I gave her. She lied to the government to...
Are you finished?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Daniel Balianu claims his sister, Marcella Roseberry, falsely accused him of abusing their mother.
Now you've been warned. Now she has a tape that you've been warned to stay away from her. If you do not stay away from her, she's going to get a protective order, and you're going to violate it because that's part of your nature, and you'll find yourself in jail.
Case to you, and I would love for you to hear me.
We're done.
We're done. My sister stole $50,000 from my mom. That money was not given to her.
Just a second.
And I apologize, Your Honor.
Hey, listen to me. I want you to understand something. How old are you?
I'm 52 years old.
Shut up.
And this woman stole money from my mother. And she abuses my mother, and she took that money from her, $50,000 that I gave her. Your Honor, this woman is a thief, and she had put my mom in a home where government pays subsidies, and this woman took that money. It wasn't given to her. She lied to the government, including my to put my mother in a place like that.
Are you finished?
Your Honor,
listen to me.
My mother loves me, Your Honor. My mother loves me, and she takes, and I can take care of her. I took care of her.
I can't help you. If what you are seeking is to be declared the guardian of your mother, you can listen to what I'm saying to you carefully. If what you are seeking is to be declared, don't speak again, ever, here. If what you believe appropriately for your mother would be for you to be her guardian, her caretaker, there is a family court where you can be declared the guardian of someone who is incompetent. Your mother can give away. I told you, I don't want to hear you.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by. Are you in a family dispute? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Now, I'm finished. Your mother can give away any amount of money that she wants, and the money that your mother, if it's true, gave to your sister or your sister took from her is none of your business unless you are your mother's quiet guardian or you're the executor of her estate. It's not your job. And if you want to see your mother, and if you believe that you are being deprived of the ability to see your mother in spite of a court order, file for a violation of that court order. I'm not listening to anything more about money, which is always the root of everything. Follow the money, not the welfare of the person. Follow the money. What riles you is the money that your sister stole from my mother, not your business.
Your Honor, I have to speak.
You didn't hear what I said to you. I'm not listening
money
to
from
you
my
anymore.
mom, and it didn't hit her back.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
You worked for the plaintiffs, taking care of their father. When did you start taking care of him?
14 months ago.
You can't remember when you started to work. I wouldn't let you take care of a goldfish.
Judge Judy.
I knew the judge would see right through him because it's not true.
That money never hit my mom's bank account.
The court gave her the money. He never gave her any money, and nobody stole $50,000 from her.
They're not allowing our family to be together because of hatred for me.
This is not right. My mom is too sick for this.
I will fight them in court until the truth comes out.
You worked for the plaintiffs, taking care of their father.
Another person's life was in her hands.
When did you start taking care of him?
14 months ago, January-ish.
No.
2018 or 2019, sorry.
She just doesn't know when.
You worked in January, beginning, middle, or end?
Probably about the beginning-ish, middle.
If you can't remember when you started to work, I wouldn't let you take care of a goldfish.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Sister Casey Goddard are suing their former employee, Lisa Mayer, for an unpaid loan and attorney fees.
Order. All rise. It's case number 140 on the calendar in the matter of Dick Goddard versus Mayer.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Ma'am, have a seat, please.
Miss Mayer, I'm going to start with you.
Okay.
You were a caregiver for the plaintiff's father, who was ill. And there came a time, Miss Mayer, well, let's go back a little bit. When did you start taking care of him?
14 months ago.
No. Don't look at them.
Yeah.
Don't look. Shh. No. Don't speak. Month and year.
2018.
Month.
January, or 2019, sorry.
Not right.
After Christmas, we got through, I'm sorry.
Just look at me.
January.
You should.
It was January 8th, the 2019.
No, don't look at.
I'm sorry.
Let's start again. When did you start working for the plaintiff's father as a caretaker?
2019.
Had you worked for an agency?
I worked for Southridge Nursing and Rehab.
And when did you, according to you, when did you leave his employ?
It was in around April 4th.
So in total, according to you, you worked in January, beginning, middle, or end?
Probably about the beginning-ish, middle.
At the beginning of January or the end of January?
Beginning of January.
So you worked for him January, February, and March, 3 months.
Well, longer than that.
So what are you looking for?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I worked there, it was after Christmas. We interviewed almost a year.
Well,
I'm sorry.
I'm gonna let you compose yourself.
Okay.
Because I'm getting frustrated.
I'm sorry.
Because either there's something wrong with you, because I wouldn't let you take care, if you can't remember when you started to work, I wouldn't let you take care of a goldfish. Do you understand?
Okay.
All right.
It's fine.
You don't have to speak to anybody. You're not to speak to anybody.
Okay.
Just start to concentrate when you started to work and when you finished.
Okay.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
In that 4 weeks, you're claiming that you worked $8,500 worth in that 1 month. From that's what your claim is.
And later today.
Did you live there in June?
Yes, I did. Her husband had come down and got belligerent and in my face, and I told her what had occurred and that I would just keep my rent and move out.
You can't just keep your rent and move out.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
John Dick and his sister, Casey Goddard, claim former employee Lisa is countersuing for unpaid wages and slander.
Stay seated. So did you figure out when you started this job?
July 3rd, 2018.
And when did you leave the job?
April 4th.
On what date did you take money for a car from the plaintiffs?
March 2nd.
March 2nd of 2019?
Yes, 19.
And 4 weeks later, were you fired or did you quit?
I quit.
That's what this case is about, that you worked for the plaintiffs, taking care of their father for a period of now for 9 months. Then they gave you $3,500 because you didn't have transportation. And then 4 weeks later, you quit. Of course, not returning any of the $3,500 to them. Now, your counterclaim suggests that they owe you, in addition to the $3,500, which you say you were going to work off, were going, because I read your,
Yes, ma'am.
which I read your answer. You said the idea was that I was going to work it off. So in addition, in that 4 weeks, you're claiming that you worked off the $3,500 and an additional $5,000, which you're counterclaiming for $5,000. So in that 1 month, you worked $8,500 worth in that 1 month.
No, ma'am.
That's what your claim is. I read your answer, and you said the idea was, it was sort of an advance. They agreed to give me $3,500 to get a new car. I continued working for them, and Then I suffered a stroke, and I still managed to go to work. And I have lupus, so for a couple of days I asked off, and I didn't want to put their father at risk, and they didn't care about my well-being, so I quit.
That is not how it particularly went down. It was a couple of months prior to that my pay had went down. We had agreed to put me on salary, and someone had to be let go.
Just a second. Your salary went down a couple of months before.
I was getting paid hourly, and then overtime was kicking in, so my money had went up a good bit. Well, they had a family member leave, which put them kind of in a bind. So I said, I will take a pay cut. We'll do this. We'll go to salary so that we can get things figured out to get...
Just a second. So you agreed to take a salary?
Yes.
In what month?
In February.
So in February, you agreed to take a salary?
Yes.
When in February?
This one is February.
What amount?
For $600 a week.
Your Honor, that is not true.
I don't want to ask you anything. Please, let me do my job.
Yes, ma'am.
For $600 a week? Did they pay you $600 a week?
For 2 weeks.
Okay, so they paid you $600, 2 weeks in February for the 9th, and then that week is the 18th, and the 18th to the 25th, which is almost the end of February. So they paid you in February $600. Then we come to March. Just a minute. Then we come to March. What happened in March?
We let someone go, and they were going over budget and trying to figure out how to maintain me and the other people working, trying to be feasible.
We're in March.
In March. And they said, we can't afford to pay you that. So we sat down, we went over numbers, which is right here where he wrote it all down, and it was dropped down to $400.
$400 a week?
A week.
Okay, so they were going to pay you $400.
$425, my bad, and $25 minus the car note.
Is it at that time that they gave you the $3,500 for the car?
That was given to me on March 2nd, yes.
Was the same date?
It was around, it was in the same week. So, but not the same day.
Week. So your salary was dropping down to $400 and the $25.
Yes.
So the car payment, which was $3,500, according to what you just told me, was a loan that you were going to pay back at the rate of $25 a week.
Yes.
So far, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you pay $425 a week in March?
Did I pay?
Yes. Did they pay?
They paid me.
They paid $400.
They paid me
$425
was taken out for the car.
Was taken out for the car.
Yes.
So it was $425 and you got $400? Or?
I got $400.
Okay, so they took out $25 for the car.
Yes, ma'am.
So you paid $25 for the car.
Yes.
In the month of March.
Yes.
For a total of $100. Is
Yes,
not an
ma'am.
answer.
I'm sorry.
And then you quit.
Yes, ma'am.
So then you owe them $3,400.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, then why are we here?
We had agreed that because with...
Now I'm just buying what you just told me. They didn't say a word.
And when I brought to them the fact that I could not survive on what we were doing and feasibly...
Just a second. When did you bring that to their attention?
I brought it
after
to
March?
Them in March, yes.
Well, you made the deal.
The deal was supposed to... I was this stroke and trying to maintain and keep my life going, taking care of their father. I was working...
You owe them $3,400. That's so far.
Yes.
That's so far. And they're also, since you quit, which I get, now you work for 4 weeks and then you quit. Now, they also say that they had to hire an attorney to get this case going. Are you back working for
No, ma'am.
South Page? Where are you working?
I am not. I'm in college.
Who do you live with?
My fiance.
How do you support yourself?
I have financial aid from school.
Well, college is a very serious commitment.
It is a
Are
very
you telling me
serious
that college is easier than getting a job?
I can't... And guidelines, I'm not released from my doctor, so I cannot go get a job. They won't release me. I can't do lifting.
You owe them $3,400. Now, show me so far what it cost you to get an attorney to sue her for $3,400.
Your Honor, she actually made...
Would you do me a favor? Show me. And if what you're telling me is she made more than $100 in payments,
she made
how much?
$150 in payments.
Okay,
yes,
so she owes you $33.50.
The well, I'll get with that one in a minute.
Let me tell you, Miss Mayor, while you may present a sympathetic picture, it's not an honest picture, Because if you're living with your boyfriend and you realize that you can't pay them back, sell the car.
That's not the...
Sell the car.
Given the money, I got word back as far as the job that I was previously at. They're saying that I took from them and that I wrecked the car. It's, I don't know.
That's a whole jumble. You quit 4 weeks later after they gave you money for the car.
After I went to sit down and talk to them, I asked to have a meet and a talk, sit down and talk. And instead of being talked to about it was a verbal, I felt attacked. I had suffered from the stroke, told them, brought it to their attention that I can't make it. I have insurance to pay and everything else. I never wanted to leave their dad. I loved their dad very much. I loved them. It wasn't an issue. It was just a give. I was giving everything I had, and then when I brought it to their attention that this was not...
They weren't caring enough.
No.
That's what happens, Miss Mayor. When you loan someone money, and if the person can't pay back the loan, or it becomes difficult, they will always find a reason that it's the person who made the loan, it's their fault. Either they have the money, it's not important to them, they disrespected my aunt, they disrespected me, they called my child a name, they weren't sympathetic enough with my physical condition. There's always a reason that a delinquent borrower will loan. All I said to you was, if you found them to be not compassionate people about your physical situation, sell the car and give them the money.
Okay.
You don't quit and not pay them and then say, well, they weren't sympathetic enough, I had a stroke, and I really couldn't take care of their father. Then
I could take care of him.
Well,
I did a great job taking care of him. There's
Your Honor.
not one. I could have stayed and continued.
What are you giving me here?
On the back, it should be there should be a check on there that we had to write to that law firm.
$3,700.
Your Honor,
Judgment for the plaintiff. We're done. But did you understand what I just said? You don't have to say anything to me.
Yes, ma'am.
I issued a judgment in your favor for the full amount that you're requesting, $3,700. You count the claims dismissed. We're done.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
It is what it is.
Judge Judy's fair and she's smart.
Because they loaned me the money.
She pretty much just left us high and dry.
It's just a disagreement.
We're pretty sad that this situation come to this.
I love that man.
She took such good care of our dad, and we got duped.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Stevens versus DeCorley, step forward.
Tamara Stevens is suing her former friend, Crystal DeCorley, for unpaid rent, property damage, and for property damage and slander.
Miss Stevens, I've read your complaint, and it appears to me that you and Mr. Corley were friends.
Yes, ma'am.
You had a history together of some substance abuse, but you have maintained, according to you, sobriety since for a very long time. You had a rental home. You were confident that Mr. Corley had maintained her sobriety, and you decided to let her rent this rental property. Is it a house?
It's a house, yes.
And it's not far from where you live?
No, it's only 2 houses down.
And how large is it?
It's 3-bedroom, 1.5 bath.
And who did you live there with?
My daughter, and at one point, my 2 nieces.
And what was your rent?
$500 a month.
When did you move in?
June of 2017. I gave a $500 deposit and paid $500 a month rent.
And when did you move out?
This past weekend.
Just this past weekend?
Yes. She was supposed to be out June 16th. I evicted her. I evicted her June 16th. She was supposed to be out July 16th. They both agreed to allow me to stay until Sunday.
Where is the house?
The house is just 2 houses down from mine. It's on...
In what city?
In Salem, Missouri.
When did you do a walkthrough on the house?
We did a walkthrough yesterday morning, and then I gave her 24-hour notice, and we did a walkthrough last week also.
She moved out yesterday. When did you do the walkthrough?
Oh, she moved out Sunday.
Sunday.
I filed my lawsuit 2 days after I filed my my eviction.
You filed your small claims lawsuit after?
Before my rent was even...
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
There's instant justice and there's ridiculously instant justice. And you have to serve somebody a summons and give them notice. That clearly didn't happen.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Tamara Stevens says former friend Crystal DeCorley owes for rent, property damage, and a haircut.
Okay, you filed your small claims lawsuit when you filed your eviction, I'd like to see the lawsuit that you filed.
I had to do an amended one after I found out more damage. Would you like that one also?
When did you find more damage?
For the 17th, or the, what date was it that I did this? The 18th. It was after I did the 24-hour, I gave her the advance notice, and I did the walkthrough and realized there was huge holes in the walls.
I'm not happy
were there,
about,
many of which
I'm
were there
letting
when
you
I
know
moved
that
in.
I'm not happy about this case and the damage. There's instant justice and there's ridiculously instant justice. And if you move out on a Sunday in Missouri and on Angeles to try a lawsuit on Wednesday, and you have to serve somebody a summons and give them notice, that clearly didn't happen. Not if she moved out on Sunday. So I'm not hearing any evidence with regard to damage. Zero.
Okay.
Zippity-doo-dah. Now, you evicted her in what month?
I evicted her in June.
Had she paid rent up until June? That's either a yes or a no.
Yes, ma'am. She paid May, and then June she told me she was not going to pay rent. Because I was threatened with eviction by her husband.
That's all right. Did you live there in June?
Yes, I did.
And you did not pay rent?
Her husband had come down and got belligerent and in my face, threatening me with eviction, and 2 days prior to her asking for the rent, and I told her what had occurred and that I would just keep my rent and move out since I was tired of being
You can't just keep your rent and move out. You didn't pay in June, and you also lived there in July.
And justly, I've been asking for repairs that were needed to be done on the house prior to me even moving in.
Listen to me. I'm not taking any counterclaim from you. Zero.
Okay.
Because you two are not going to be able to demonstrate to me that you served her with a counterclaim and gave her appropriate note is rent for June and part of July. You have the following alternative. If you want to press the entire case, which includes damage, I will dismiss the case without prejudice, and you can go back to court in Missouri.
But there was other rent also. She owed me rent from January to where I let her pay $200, and she was supposed to pay me $300 with taxes, and I have proof of it. Also.
Fine. Okay. I will hear a claim for rent in June and any other rent that you claim she owes you.
Okay.
Because that lawsuit you said you filed at the same time you filed the eviction.
I did. And for the bed bugs also.
Understand this very carefully. I am hearing rent.
Just rent. Okay.
Period.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by. Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Now, did you short her on rent the month of either January or February?
It was in February, and
the answer is yes.
Yes, we had come to an agreement. I have since also gave her $100 of that money back. That is true.
So you owe her $200?
Yes.
And you owe her for the month of June $500.
Well, my rent isn't due until this, according to the eviction notice, it's due on the 16th.
You lived there the month of June. Did you pay any rent in June?
No.
Then you owe for the month of June. That's $700. $200 for the month of February and $500. Now, did you give her security deposit?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
How much?
$500.
You are not requesting that back?
It was mentioned in my counterclaim, I believe, and then she had the bed bugs issue, and I honestly felt like that $500 deposit could have been used as my last month rent. That's why I chose to try to get out before.
No, you don't talk about any security deposit. Okay. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $700. Thank you very much.
What about the hairdo she owes me for, ma'am?
We're done.
That was a gift. That was a gift. What about the damages that I lived through?
Boys are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
The warning.
Never taken somebody whose own parent kicked him out, which is what you did.
Yes, ma'am.
The regret.
The room was trashed. How did it get trashed?
Judge Judy.
It is what it is. Huge holes all in the wall. There were repairs that needed to be done to that house before I ever moved into it. All my brand new wood floors I just had refinished are disgusting. They didn't get their way. It's just going to take a lot of work. Oh, we'll never be friends again. I will never, ever rent a family.
The warning. Never taken somebody whose own parent kicked him out, which is what you did.
Yes, ma'am.
The expense.
I did not charge her rent because she was in high school.
Did she provide her own food?
No.
The regret.
She actually took care of you for more than a year.
It was very nice, and I was very grateful.
And then there came a time when the room was trashed. How did it get trashed?
Judge Judy. You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Kathleen Ellis is suing her daughter's friend, 19-year-old Taryn Burnset, for unpaid rent and damages.
Order. All rise. It's case number 113 on the calendar, the matter of Ellis versus Burnset.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Ladies, have a seat.
Miss Ellis, who is this?
This is my daughter, Brittany.
Okay, so here we have another one of those. No good deed goes unpunished. I never take in somebody whose own parent kicked him out. Which is what you did.
Yes, ma'am.
And I'm sure that there are situations where that works out. I'm sure there also, don't send me that you've done it successfully. I only see the stories that are not successful. So that's the parameters of my information. Your mother kicked you out when you were how old?
17.
And you were still in high school?
Yes, ma'am.
In what month did she kick you out?
I believe April. I'm not sure.
And you were a friend of Miss Ellis's daughter?
Yeah, from church.
Miss Ellis let you move into her house?
Yes, ma'am.
Into a basement apartment that she had recently refurbished?
Yes.
Was comfortable?
It was very nice, and I was very grateful.
Terrific. And it may turn out okay for you. You graduated high school and lived with Miss Ellis from April until when the following year?
April 13th.
So you lived there for 1 year?
Yes, ma'am.
After you graduated high school. Did you get a job or did you go to school after high school?
I kept the same job that I had in high school. It was at McDonald's. Some point during it, though, I quit. It was very cold, like Minnesota. It was an extreme winter this year, and I went on a graph to see the wind chill and the temperature, how long of a walk it would be before you got, like, frostbite, and it was within, like, 20 minutes.
So you quit the job. When did you quit the job?
I'm sorry, I don't have records of that, but it was for a while.
So you were living, I assume, rent-free. School that summer, it wasn't freezing cold. Did you work during the summer?
Yes.
Did you contribute to the house during that summer?
Yes, I tried in every way that I could to show that I was being considerate and that I had the utmost respect.
I'm talking about financially.
Financially?
Summer
no.
after you graduated? No. What about in September or October?
I believe not.
Did you ever pay any rent to Miss Ellis?
I never paid rent, but I gave her, like, a gift around Christmas.
So she let you live with her for a year, even when you were working, So that was pretty nice. Why don't you tell me what happened and why we're here today?
Yes, ma'am. I believe the main reason is for, like, the disrespect, because she saw that it was, like, in chaos, the room, and she refurbished it when her son moved out, because I imagine her son left it.
Don't tell me what you imagine. She refurbished it when you moved in. And then there came a time when the room was trashed?
Around Mother's Day, sorry.
Well, Mother's Day is in May.
Yes, in May.
So then you were still living there in May? So it wasn't April that you moved out. You moved out sometime later.
I moved out in April. It was May of the year before. I had planned to buy a new mattress, and sorry.
Okay. So the room was trashed shortly after you moved in.
It wasn't shortly after I moved in, because...
Well, after the...
Not after, no. I'm really bad with times.
Well,
but,
then I'm going to have to stop with you. You are very bad with times. Either she let you stay for a year after the room was trashed, or after the room was trashed, she asked you to leave.
It was a year before. It was trashed for a long time, but I just, like, bought a new comforter and sheets, and I put those on top.
How did it get trashed?
So her son didn't like me. There were a lot of times, I think I might have evidence of this, where he tried to get me kicked out because he didn't like me.
Just tell me how the room got trashed.
I believe that he did it out of, like, a vindictive feeling. I don't know. He wanted me to move out multiple times, and I knew that if I left, because I had to leave when he came over, so I left my room without, and I tried to, like, I moved all my clothes because I didn't want him messing with my clothes. But yeah.
How old is your son?
It was just trash.
My son is 21.
Where does he live?
He lives in Minneapolis. He moved out of my home a year before Taryn moved in.
And where did he move out to go?
To Minneapolis.
What does he do there?
He, right now, I believe, is cleaning homes.
So you're not sure what he's doing?
No.
And he moved out when he was 18-ish.
Yes.
How often did he come home after
He
moved
has
out?
not been to my house in at least a year and a half. It was Mother's Day of the prior year.
Stand up. Name is?
Brittany.
Brittany. What's your brother's name?
Mark.
Were you home when Mark came home?
Yes.
Mother's Day a year and a half ago?
Yes.
Who else was home?
Me and my sister and my mom. And then he brought his girlfriend, too.
And when he came home with his girlfriend, the defendant left?
Yes. She didn't want to fight with my brother because they've had problems in the past.
And where did your brother and his girlfriend sleep?
They didn't spend the night.
How come? It's not an answer.
I'm not.
We're here, and I'm asking you, what kind of an incident happened with your brother, your mother, and or his girlfriend a year and a half ago?
My brother and my mom got into a fight, and he left and went back to Minneapolis with his girlfriend.
They got into a fight with you present?
Yes.
You were present?
Yes.
They got into a fight about what?
They butt heads a lot. They disagree a lot.
I knew that as soon as he moved out when he was 18.
Yes.
And hadn't been back for a year and a half. So I know something happened because that just makes sense. I have a lot of children, they have friends, so they sort of know that. So on Mother's Day, what were they fighting about?
I don't recall what the exact fight was.
I do recall my son had brought illegal drugs into my house, and I had an issue with that.
That they were using in your house?
Yes.
That they thought it was just okay?
Yeah.
Disrespect was appalling. Sorry.
Now we're going to get to the case.
Okay.
Now I've got the scenario. The defendant moved out relatively recently. April?
He moved.
No.
She moved out April 13th.
Right. And what are you suing her for?
I am suing her for back rent for January, February, March, part of April, and for the damages that were caused to the mattress.
Okay. I'd like you to tell me, January, February, and March, she hadn't paid you rent in a year, and you didn't evict her. Now, tell me what happened in January that you're suing for January's rent. She had never paid you rent before.
She paid me rent November and December.
How much?
She paid $200 a month. Before that, I did not charge her rent because she was in high school.
Well, she wasn't
And
in
I
high school.
promised-
She wasn't in high school August, September, October,
Right.
and November.
Right. And that's on me that I did not charge her rent for those months.
Did she provide her own food?
No.
Miss Ellis says that you gave her some money for rent for 2 months. Is that true?
I gave her money around Christmas because she was struggling. I 100% would have. I gave her $400, and I would have given her rent if that's what it had been. But if it would have been, then she says that it was 2 months. And
Okay. You gave her $400. And in January is when you stopped working because you told me about this wind chill and how long it was going to take you to work, so it was wind chill. So you didn't pay her for January, February, and March, for sure. Okay. Now, what evidence do you have that the defendant damaged the mattress?
Oh, I have photographs of the mattress.
I'll take a look at the mattress. There you go.
I also have the receipt showing when I purchased the mattress.
I'd like to see that, too. Okay, this damage to the mattress that I'm looking at, as Byrne said, is not damage that the sun caused. Have you seen the photographs?
I haven't, but it was really bad, so.
Well, it's not damage that the sun caused.
I mean.
Okay, I believe that you had an agreement at a certain time to pay her rent, which is why you paid her rent and why you had this elaborate story of wind chill. So I believe that you owe her for 3 months' rent, which is $600, and I believe that you owe her for a mattress, which is $372, leaving a total of $972. I think that that's most reasonable. Took care of you for more than a year. She took care of your electricity, she took care of your heat, she took care of your rent, she took care of your food, she took care of whatever had to be taken care of for you. So I certainly believe that that's a minimal cost. Now, you have a counterclaim for $500. You say she got rid of some of your property after you moved out because you couldn't take it with you.
It was changed to $300.
Okay.
It
Well,
was
let's
just
change
books.
it. Let's change it to nothing.
Okay.
$972. Judgment for the plaintiff. Thank you. Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I think Judy was very insightful, and I'm happy.
Thought it was an excellent decision.
Extremely disrespectful.
Even though I didn't do the damages, I 100% would have replaced it so she didn't have to do this.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Seifert versus Seifert. Step forward.
Leroy Seifert is suing his former sister-in-law, Judy Seifert, for an unpaid loan to pay for his brother's funeral and the return of family heirlooms.
Mr. Seifert, the defendant is your brother's widow.
Yes.
How long were they married?
2 years.
Did his previous wife pass away, or were they divorced?
He didn't have a previous wife.
So the defendant is his only wife.
Yes, ma'am.
How old was he?
My brother was 55
when he died?
When he died.
And his only survivor, therefore, was his wife?
Correct.
Had no children?
No children.
I'm just getting everything
Okay.
straight.
Yeah.
Stepchildren. Yes,
Stepchildren.
stepchildren.
Well, just so that
But
you know,
none-
shh, don't speak. In the law, when the marital relationship is over, there's no more relationship. They're not even stepchildren anymore.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Did you know where this was before your husband died?
Yes,
Not we. How did it come into Mr. Seifert's possession?
we took it over there for safekeeping.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Leroy Seifert says his late brother's wife, Judy Seifert, owes for the cost of his brother's funeral and for the return of family heirlooms. Judy is countersuing for a gold pendant and threats.
Okay. In any event, you married him for 2 years.
No.
Did you?
We were married for 5.
You were married for 5 years. In
Yes.
what year did you marry?
2014.
We went to the wedding.
Shh. It doesn't make any difference, sir. It really doesn't make any difference. What you're asking Miss Seifert for is you say that she owes you for a loan.
Yes, ma'am.
When your husband died, Miss Seifert, was it after an illness or was it sudden?
No, it was very unexpected.
Did he have any insurance?
Yes.
Were you the beneficiary of his policy?
Yes.
How much money did you inherit as a result of that?
A total of $7,700 and change.
And was that the extent of what you inherited when he passed away?
Insurance money?
No, of anything.
Our home?
Was it his home initially?
No, it was ours.
You bought it together?
Yes, we did.
Okay. How long in total did you know your husband before he passed away? Yes.
Approximately 10 years.
And of the 10 years, how many of those years did you live together?
Before we got married, about 4.
So this house was purchased as a married couple?
Yes.
Is that right?
I think yes. Yes.
Okay. And did you bring certain property with you?
Yes.
And I'm sure your husband had certain things that he brought with him. Do you know that it's your responsibility, not his brothers and siblings, to take care of his funeral?
Right.
You understand that?
Yes, I do.
Did you take care of his funeral? Did you pay for it?
Yes, I did.
How much did you pay for it?
I paid him my husband's Corvette, or our Corvette, and a boat and trailer that we had together.
How much was the funeral?
Not exactly sure what the total was, but it was around $3,000.
Well, here. Your lawsuit is for money owed on a loan for
Correct.
brother's funeral expenses.
She came to me and asked me, she told me she didn't have any money to pay for his funeral expenses.
He offered.
And asked if I would...
Don't speak.
Okay.
Asked
Don't
if I would
speak.
loan her the money for his funeral expenses. And at first I said no, because how are you going to pay me back? She said, I have a life insurance policy for him that he got for his final expenses that he had taken out 2 years ago, she told me.
Fine.
And so I said, okay, well,
That's
under those...
really odd. He's a young man to do that.
I know that. I didn't know about it until she told me about it that day at my house. And so I said, well, under that situation, I will help then.
Great.
If you can pay me
I want
back.
to see exactly how much you gave her.
I didn't give it to her. I paid for everything and made all the
Well,
arrangements.
then just tell me what it was.
Okay, well,
Not
I have...
about. I don't want to hear an about.
Okay.
I have the cost of the memorial here.
I have $2601.88 on one receipt. I only have 2 receipts, and another one here for $1,530.
For
Those
what?
are the two.
For
this
what?
is for the plot of land that we've buried him in, and the expenses at the cemetery, and this is for the funeral home for the memorial.
2601, and the other one was for 1,000.
$500 was that too. She came to me and asked me for money for the priest. There was also the death certificate she asked me to purchase for her, and a luncheon after his funeral, and that's it. That's it.
You took everybody to lunch. That's your business. 4131 are those two amounts put together. That's for the funeral service and the plot of land. And he took out expenses for his final, and you got the money for that, $7,700. So you have to pay him the $4,100.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I mean, I have a brother. I have things of value. I have jewelry. I live with my husband. I wouldn't think of taking a piece of jewelry and giving it to my brother and saying, would you hold this for safekeeping?
That's what
I have my own house.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Leroy Seifert says his late brother's wife, Judy Seifert, owes for the cost of his brother's funeral and for the return of family heirlooms. Judy is countersuing for a gold pendant and threats.
Now, your husband took out the policy because he didn't want anybody else to have to pay for his final resting. Pay attention.
Yes.
That's it. You have to take care of it, because the other part of your lawsuit is you say you want the value of family heirlooms that they have. Well, you can't have that.
He had.
Oh, you can't go in picking around and saying, well, that was my grandmother's, that was my grandfather's. They belong to her husband.
Okay.
And she is his survivor.
Correct.
That's why she has to pay for the funeral.
Correct.
Right?
Thought so.
She also gets to keep all of his property. That's
Okay.
one of the reasons she has to pay for his funeral. That's the quid pro quo.
Okay.
That's easy. Now, you have a counterclaim. Money owed for a gold pendant.
Right.
What gold pendant?
The same one we were talking about.
May I see it?
Yes, ma'am. My father had purchased back in the 70s. It belonged to our family, and one day my brother came over to my house about a year and a half before he died and said that, I'd like you to have this. I want to get a loan on it. And I said, for how much? He said, well, I don't want to keep it at the house because I think Judy might sell it. Okay? And so I said, well, what do you want for it? He said $500, and I gave him the $500 because I'd seen it many times at our family home when we were children.
Just a second. Is what you're telling me, this came into your possession before your brother died?
Correct.
Did you know where this was before your husband died?
Yes,
Not we.
My husband and I.
How did it come into Mr. Seifert's possession?
We took it over there for safekeeping.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
It's true.
That's ridiculous.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by.
Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Okay, you're an adult. Your husband was an adult. Why do you have to take... What is the reason...
That's his big brother.
Just a second. What would be the reason to take it to his house for safekeeping? You're an adult. Your husband was an adult. What would be the reason to take it to his house for safekeeping? I mean, I have a brother. I have things of value. I have jewelry. I live with my husband. I wouldn't think of taking a piece of jewelry and giving it to my brother and saying, would you hold this for safekeeping? I have my own house with my own safety. What do you want to say? What are you jumping out of your skin? What you're going to say is going to be ridiculous.
Chase-Ann?
Come on.
Yeah.
I want to say there's people stealing things from her house.
Well, that would
right
make
before he died.
That would make...
That's why my stepfather brought it over to his brother's house.
Who knows who was stealing? Who was stealing things from their house? Sit down.
Friends.
Sit down.
Not friends.
Okay. It's yours.
Thank you.
Okay. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $4,131. We're done here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ralph.
Continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
Musicians with a lack of harmony.
Did you fall on her violin?
Not that I remember.
And an off-key solo.
Hold up.
Hits a sour note.
Hold up. Hold up.
Judge Judy.
I'm very happy with it. It came out exactly like I expected it to.
I paid him, more than paid him for